Welcome, everyone, everywhere. I'm Ian, founder of StoryTogether and the GM of the tabletop role-playing game you're about to watch. Thank you so much for being here. We hope you enjoy. This story is called One Giant Leap. It takes place about 100 years from now, in 2120, in a world where we figured it out. There's no war, no poverty, a vast reduction in disease. We've achieved a healthy balance with nature's many ecosystems. We have very little waste, and we empower one another to consistently improve not only ourselves, but our communities, large and small. It has been dubbed humanity's first golden age. But this incredible future did not come without great cost.
In 2058 AD, there was the Great Calamity, a series of concurrent nuclear detonations across a dozen of Earth's major cities, whose explosions and resulting conflicts ultimately resulted in the deaths of nearly 2 billion people. One of this catastrophe's many horrific side effects was the severing of contact between Earth and Mars. For nearly 20 years before the bombs, the first human colony on Mars was established, Mars Prime. Over that next 17 years, it grew into a thriving city, a true scientific marvel, with nearly 20,000 people living there full-time. But as the disaster on Earth unfolded, the beacons on Mars went quiet. While attempts to communicate were made on numerous occasions, none were successful. The fallout did yield one wonderful thing, though, the Adun machine, now more popularly referred to as the Eden machine. The best of us across the globe came together and gave birth to a miraculous vision, a machine which taps directly into Earth's well-being, the sum total of all people, creatures, and nature itself, and is able to measure its impossibly complex heartbeat. The Eden machine was, and is, humanity's greatest accomplishment, born out of its greatest failure. When it first came to life in 2074 AD, 16 years after the bombs, the Eden machine gave us the dismal truth. Earth was dying, and we along with it. But overcoming our lesser instincts, we collectively invested in the machine's recommendations. And over the next 25 plus years, poverty, hunger, war, addiction, climate change, most disease, and extinction were all eliminated across the globe. And as we made these unprecedented strides in evolution, so too did the Eden machine. Like a sapling which becomes the great redwood, the Eden machine's power and capacity grew and grew, providing even more rich data and insights about the planet. And in the year 2099 AD, a miracle occurred. The Earth, via the Eden machine, birthed a sentience, became able to communicate with us, became alive. The insight, knowledge, and love of harmony the Earth brings us has forever changed the way we live and interact. The player characters who we'll meet momentarily are, for the most part anyway, the first generation of adults since the Golden Age began, and it's their duty to ensure that they're able to pass our boon on to the next generation. So with the foundation of our story laid, let's meet the players and their characters.
My name is Emily. As a person outside of the game, I'm 24. I am an illustrator, and I graduated with an illustration degree from Boston's Mass College of Art and Design. My character is Saoirse Gallagher, who is not quite an adult in this game. She's 15, and she's the chief medical officer of the group. So she is in charge of all medical decisions for the team. Her background is with 2 PhDs. She was able to, with her team, cure cancer in this new world. That's it.
Nice. Hello, I'm Jared Hardy. I am also 24. I'm a private investigator. Degree in criminal justice, but we'll go for private investigator right now. The character I'll be playing is Hank Young. I go by Legs. Due to, you'll see shortly, I have some extraordinary legs. I am 50 years old, experienced a little bit of the fallout, and then grew up during the golden age of humanity, so have a brighter look on life. And then I lost both of my legs and created new ones for myself. So I can now do lots of cool stuff with them.
Hi, I'm Isaiah Rotundi Gray. I'm an educator by trade, a school counselor. I have an acting background. I love theater. I love to perform in general. I've been role-playing since, I want to say 2001, after the first Lord of the Rings movie came out, with my dad and a couple friends, and ever since then I've been hooked. The narrator, DM, happens to be my brother, Ian. I just want to shout out to my wife, Anna, and my son, Owen Maximus Gray, OMG, who was just born a couple weeks ago. Love you guys. And my character's name is Captain Maximus. See, my son's on my mind. Captain Marcus Anderson. And I'm going to leave a lot of the details out. Just, I think that's important. But he appears to be roughly 30 years old. Doesn't look too dissimilar from me. Probably in way better shape. His actual age is marked as unknown on his official military record. He had amnesia for the first 18 years of his life. He's originally from the Langley, D.C. area in Virginia, and he has extensive military and special forces experience, and he is known as the last veteran, and he has a background in diplomacy and negotiating.
My name is Amula. I am 31 years old. In real life, I'm an account manager, soon to be director for a marketing company. In the game here, my name is Asima Dajani. I'm around 40 years old. I grew up in what we now call Palestine, whatever that may be called in the future. And I kind of went directly into the military arm of the Planetary Advisory Board, and I'm trying to apply for the Chief Tactical Officer role on this mission.
My name is Chris Duffy, and that's all you need to know. I'm not telling you anything about you. Mind your business. I play Professor Arnold Gomez. He is a man in about his 60s who grew up during the fallout, and that has kind of changed his mind of the whole thing. He's a man that's very much benefited from the prosperity of today, getting fat immediately. He is the chief historian, hopefully, if he can pass his trials.
Hi, my name is Michaela. I'm 21, about to be 22. I am a student currently studying environmental science with a hope in going into taxonomy. Because of my nerdy background, it made sense for me and my character, Eleanor Marsh, or Nora, to be the chief science officer, hopefully. She is kind of a recluse. She's lived primarily for a large part of her life in isolation. She's 27 and has spent well over 10 years living almost completely by herself in the Croke Islands of Norway, restoring the area and working with the Adun machine, or Eden machine, to restore and rehabilitate the nature in the area to optimal levels. She has several PhDs in ecology as well as biological anthropology, and she's just kind of a badass.
Let's get the show on the road.
Oh, it fails! You rolled an 8!
All right.
From the point of view of the characters, 9 months ago, in September of 2119, the most extraordinary news story of the past 20 years broke. Capturing the attention of billions, the following news broadcast sent all over the world became instantly famous.
We have a breaking, extraordinary story out of Denali International Mountain Range. A group of hikers have uncovered what scientists are calling impossible. A functioning Mars communication beacon in the heart of the mountain, which is relaying a legitimate, active distress signal from Mars's surface. The hikers were able to capture the following incredible scene with their holocams.
What is this place?
Thank you.
Who are you?
Will you save the child?
The child? What child?
This is a beacon, and it has been modified to be powered by some of your organic energy.
Or what? Who are you?
I came here for you, for now. This child is the child of mankind, the colony of Mars Prime, separated from Earth and forgotten, abandoned a half-century ago.
But the beacons on Mars have been quiet ever since the calamity. They all died. Everyone knows that. Are you saying there are still people alive on Mars?
Yes, many. And the time has come to activate the beacon, to save the child. The choice is up to you. Will you, or won't you?
No, this is crazy.
But it's too late. The rest of the hikers touch the beacon, which absorbs the player's collective organic energy and springs to life.
Mars Prime Communications Beacon activated. Connection with Child of Man's counterpart. Successful. Playing generated message.
If anyone out there can hear us, we need help. There was an explosion. The colony is in chaos. There's horrible, horrible things happening. Please, Earth, please send us help. If anyone out there can hear us, we need help. There was an explosion. The colony is in chaos. There's horrible, horrible things happening. Please, Earth, please send us help. If anyone out there can hear us, we need help. There was an explosion. The colony is in chaos. There's horrible, horrible things happening. Please, Earth, please send us help.
The specialists examining the equipment are quite certain the connection and message is both active and genuine. How old the message is uncertain, but given it's still playing today, there is rampant speculation that there could be survivors of the Great Calamity on Mars. Although the mysterious woman disappeared shortly thereafter, there is an uproar among Earth's leaders about what to do next. But one thing is for sure, there is going to be a call for a rescue mission. Stay tuned here for this and other developing stories on the Planetary News Network.
Who will be the chosen few, I wonder?
A question to all of you. How did your characters see the news? Why did they apply to be on the crew? And what position on the ESS Kaizen, which in Japanese means the state of constant improvement, do you apply for? So again, we'll go my left to right. Emily.
So, saw the news. So Saoirse currently is at home with her 6 sisters, her mom and dad, and her 3 aunts. She lives in rural Ireland. So probably all huddled around the living room television together. They are a very close family. Was struck by the story, but she's already a pretty well-known physician at this time. So she would immediately...
Just a little bit.
Yeah, you know.
Just happened to
Just
cure
cured
cancer.
Yeah.
Somewhat known.
Just in case you guys forgot, she cured cancer, so not a big deal, but...
Not a meme, it is.
No big
so,
deal.
she would probably immediately be drawn to that position.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, what was the third question?
Yeah, I mean, how did you see it? Why you applied and what were the positions? So I think
Okay,
you
cool,
nailed it.
great, there we go.
Yep.
All right, Hank would definitely, being the tinkerer and loving to work with his hands, would definitely want to be that chief engineer. And so he was probably sitting in his barn or workshop in Quebec, and hearing it on the radio or the news. And while he was hanging out with one of his friends, just spewing nonsense about controversy and tinfoil hat theories. And then once seeing the mechanical woman on the TV or the broadcast system, I became entranced with that and really just want to know what that's about. So I'm going to see what technology I can find up there.
You also helped design some of the rocket,
Yeah.
They're not actually rockets, but let's call them rockets.
The
Some of the propulsion
system.
systems for the ship. Yeah.
Yep.
Good
Design for
stuff.
The Kaizen.
That's right.
How did Marcus see the news? How did I see the news? I didn't see the news. I received a phone call. How did I apply? I didn't apply. The people on the phone call applied for me. And what position did they apply for me? Captain.
Fair enough. Hey, that's the honest answer.
So I likely would have heard about it prior to the news being released based on my position with the, I guess you'd call it military arm or
There's a
protection.
agency of protection
Yeah.
for the Planetary Advisory Board.
Protection arm. So I would have been notified about the what the hikers had found, and I am all about trying to protect and help others. And since there's still some things obviously that we have to do around Earth, that's why I have the job that I have. But being able to see what else is out there and what's going on in Mars really seemed attractive to me. So
Fair enough.
I would want to apply for a chief tactical officer.
Makes sense to me.
Arnold didn't really see the news either. He got kind of pulled away by government agents to kind of pick his brain about like human cultures and his expertise. He's been slotted to be the chief historian there. Whether or not he might pass or not is kind of up in the air, because this, even though he is a historian, this will be a physical effort, and he is a fat man. Very rotund.
Still the man, though.
Oh, he's awesome.
He's the absolute man.
He's on top of it. Yeah. He's on it like a rye sandwich.
Yeah. We love what we love in life. No hate whatsoever. Yeah.
Nora has a somewhat more intimate connection with the Eden Machine than a lot of the rest of the population. Due to her position as one of the lead ecologists, it's her job to take a lot of the raw information that's given out by the Eden Machine and then enact it in preservation areas that are still under a lot of threat out of everything. So the Eden Machine actually contacted her and told her that this was going on, because normally she doesn't care what other people are doing in the world. What they're doing doesn't matter. It's what she's doing that's important. And she realized that nobody's going to do the job as well as she's going to do the job. So as much as she has to bite her tongue and hang out with people instead of the wonderful animals she has in the Croak Islands, she packed up her stuff and decided to apply, hoping that some of her history wouldn't come up in the, application process.
That's fair.
You're a treasure.
Said the historian.
And so, every applicant, nearly 1,000 of Earth's best and brightest, gather in Sao Paulo for the trials. And this is where in real life we had our session zero, a term we use in the tabletop community to describe the game before the game, so to speak.
Tragedy strikes during the welcome dinner. The city within the city, specifically set up to house the applicants, begins to fold in on itself, seemingly without a way to stop it. But Marcus, Asima, Arnold, Saoirse, Nora, and Legs, along with fellow prospective crew members Rana, Tane, and Anjali, go above and beyond to save as many as they can. And in the process, they discover the mysterious woman from the Denali mountain range, the one who helped the hikers activate the communications beacon, may have accidentally triggered the city to compact on itself in an effort to access information. Her message for the crew, Nora's trial, doesn't exactly explain anything in the moment, but one thing is for sure, this rescue mission is off to an inauspicious start.
The surviving applicants focused on the task at hand, rescuing the long-stranded Mars colonists, and committed themselves to their trials. For fairness and evaluation, every applicant for each role was to receive the same trial.
Marcus, applying for captain, faced the test of self-sacrifice in the name of the greater good in the underwater city of Atlantis, built in the 2080s. Asima, applying for chief tactical officer, took on the role of Vercingetorix, the Battle of Alessia against Caesar. Arnold, applying for chief culture officer, found himself amongst a tribe with whom he couldn't communicate, helping them solve an ancient curse. Saoirse, applying for chief medical officer, was taken to the past, the Battle of Tokyo in 2064 AD, where she had to confront the horrors of the Hydra biological weapon face to face. Nora, applying for chief science officer, had a unique trial that only she received. She was instead given a kind of sight into yesterday, a living vision of one of Mars Prime's chief science officers on the day the bomb on Mars was detonated, the day of the Great Calamity. And Legs, applying for chief engineer, was given a virtual polymath's paradise, getting every tool and material known to humankind to rebuild Mars Prime, but then forced to confront its unseen fatal flaw as it began to cost lives within the city.
Through their cunning, prodigious ability, and selflessness, Marcus, Asima, Arnold, Saoirse, Nora, and Legs, along with non-player character crew members Rana, Tane, and Anjali, were selected for the Kaizen crew, the Nine.
The Kaizen is built and has been put through its paces. The crew is ready and will be training over the next 30 days. And then, at the Adun shipyard on the 1st of March, it'll be time to wish the Nine bon voyage on the 30-day trip to Mars. And of course, please join their worldwide going-away party the whole day prior. We can only hope they carry the spirit of Earth with them on their journey.
Everyone, everywhere, your Earth starship, the ESS Kaizen crew.
I have an incredibly special announcement. The Earth wishes to speak on broadcast.
That's never happened before.
The time has come for humanity to leave the nest, to spread its wings, to atone for its mistakes, to save those we left behind, and to prove we are ready for the next step. Together, may the Kaizen crew go with the blessings of us all.
Fellow people of Earth, the chosen Nine behind me represent our collective ability to make up for our past mistakes. Like the Earth spoke to us several days ago, it is now time to make up for those past indiscretions and errors and bring our fellow humans home, to save those we left behind. And in many ways, they represent how far we've come. But let us not get lost looking in the mirror and find a way to get those folks back to the safety of Earth, back into the arms of Mother Nature. On behalf of the planet, on behalf of all of you, let us wish the Kaizen crew nothing but the best in their journey, safe travels, and bring them home. He finishes his speech and recedes. You guys, you do the traditional, you put on your suits, which we're going to talk about items when we get on the ship. But actually, the suit itself, if I may describe it, is a much sleeker version than the traditional orange suit with a helmet. Mm-hmm. It actually contains a built-in camouflage field. So it could look like a James Bond suit just as easily as it could look like a spacesuit. And that's to allow you guys to be able to blend into whatever society or dystopia that you find there. But obviously, for the optics of the situation, you guys all intentionally look like the kick-ass astronauts that you are, and in the really intense, fashion, you're walking as the eyes of the planet, the many billions of people, have their eyes on you where you board the ship. Now, obviously, 100 years from now, rocket technology has significantly improved, so you're not particularly worried, but obviously the people are all watching, and you guys strap yourselves in, and I can only imagine what that must feel like. So I'd like to ask, great. I was going to ask each of your characters, you're seated back like this, and you have the massive straps on you, and you're about to take liftoff. So I'd like to go around and just ask about what your perspective is as you're about to embark on this mission. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to go left to right, or my left to right. So Dr. Saoirse Gallagher, how you feeling about this?
Pretty nervous. Yeah, I would say I have done a lot of things in my 15 years, but this is not one of them. So, understandably, probably shaking a little bit and wary of my crew so far because I don't know them. I'm probably just, counting backwards from 10, and my eyes are closed, and I'm just pretending like we're not about to shoot ourselves into space.
Where there's literally thousands of pounds of explosives strapped to your butt, basically.
Yeah, not thinking about it. Really, we're just in a very uncomfortable couch.
That's true. Although they probably hooked you guys up. I mean, legs. I mean, the Canadians, I mean, they're very comfortable people. You know, I'm sure they hooked you up.
I was just about to say, I'm specifically thinking about it and thinking about everything that I specifically laid my hands on and making sure that I run the numbers again in my head and just kind of like going through like, okay, I know this should work, you know, it should go A to B to C and then lift off.
Yep. I mean, that makes
sense.
sense.
Trying to just analytically think about it.
Make sure the
as
boxes
it's happening.
are checked.
Correct.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I go last?
Yeah, sure.
All right. I'm just calm, ready, excited.
Focused.
A little bit of an adrenaline junkie, so always, you know, looking forward to that side of it too.
That's always the backdrop to things.
Yeah.
I mean, this is about as adrenaline pumping as they get, being strapped to a massive rocket to get you in space.
I'm saying a little prayer that I learned when I was a boy.
Okay.
Holy diver, you've been gone too long in the midnight sea. Oh, what's becoming of me? Ride the tiger. You can see his stripes, but you know he is clean.
I just hate you so much.
To be fair.
Moment.
Very touching. Very touching.
Can I say that?
Yeah, of course you can say
Okay.
it. I mean, honestly, like, you know, maybe that does comfort your character. You know, there's things from our childhood that, you know.
We don't know.
that
No. I mean, like, can I legally do that?
Please don't sue us over something so ridiculous.
Okay.
Nora.
If you're
offended, first off, never sue Chris over anything he says. It's like 99% of the time not serious. Nora, before we left the platform, Nora hugged Adewale, just like quickly, and then just walked off because she admires what he's done and like thought it might bring her luck. Yeah, her sitting in that chair, her whole she just like completely dissociates. Like she's just like, this is going to happen. I want to like watch it happen, but like she's just dead silent.
Right.
Like just stone-faced, dead silent, just like ready.
Fair enough.
She knows Adewale, right?
Yeah.
It's not some weird, just like, hi, big fan.
No, like they know each other.
Oh.
They hug. Yeah.
Gotcha.
They hug.
Let's just say
That's why
it's
she was
not
a little.
weird.
Yeah, it's not weird. She was a little bummed he wasn't looking over her experiment, like her trial, but like, it's fine.
We've gotten over it.
Yeah.
He kind of like bigged up himself by going to the captains, even though he's blatantly a scientist. But
Yeah, exactly,
He
yeah.
is definitely in 2120, more so than 30 plus years ago, more of a leader of people rather than an on the
Oh,
ground
absolutely.
scientist.
He's like old too now, like gray hair.
He's-
like,
he's busy, I get
good
it.
looking man, but like
Right.
old.
You know, I'm observing everyone else.
Okay.
And I notice Dr. Gallagher having a hard time, and maybe I'm sitting next to her if that's okay.
Sure.
And you know, let's pat her on the knee and be like, "It's gonna be a fun ride."
All right.
Very reassuring.
You're
And
gonna
then
see
I
my
say,
pupils just
computer,
get smaller and smaller.
play Highway Star by Deep Purple.
Done. Absolutely.
Live, made in Japan live.
All right. That is by captain's orders. Now blaring over the intercom. So obviously as the 3, 2,
I mute it.
1. Actually, I'm pretty sure only the CMO has override power over the captain. So unless you hacked it, you wouldn't necessarily be able to. But
No, I just hit the all calm mute button that every spaceship has, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna listen to anyone else scream, and just gonna go up in pure silence.
I'm putting on an airplane pillow.
exactly like one of those like,
oh man,
like the.
Should have brought my
So
scissors.
the rockets obviously ignite. I'm looking at it from the perspective of the 20,000 people, and you see this majestic rocket, and it definitely looks a little bit different. There's more bells and whistles than we might be used to today, but the rocket just absolutely screams out of the atmosphere, almost leaving a tear of white, cloud in the atmosphere, and everyone just sits there in awe as they see this spaceship. You break through the atmosphere and come into space. How many of your characters have actually been to space? It's a good question.
Wait, don't we use those pods to like travel? So aren't technically?
Well, actually, that doesn't actually break the atmosphere. So it goes through the lower atmosphere into the upper atmosphere, moves, and then drops. It never actually goes into space, although you might see
Who would have
it there.
access to
I don't know.
space?
Maybe
Anjali has definitely been to space.
My predator suit may have been.
I'm just curious, just from a character's history. Like, who
I don't
would
know
have
if I broke
been
the
to space?
atmosphere.
Prototyping
with
the
a predator
ship,
suit.
Maybe
to
you
test
did.
it.
I have my own orbit, but no.
For sure, have stayed on Earth my whole
For
life.
sure. Feet on the ground type of person.
I mean, unless Eden made me go up there.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
Not given your specific line of science,
Exactly.
but I suppose it's possible. But in any event, so if you've never seen it, from what I've read, the sight of seeing Earth in its totality, especially in a version of the future where Earth is literally a sentient being, it's almost like you're seeing someone face to face that you feel like you know well for the first time. And I'm sure for you guys it must be a very intense experience. And the ship comes in and you see the International Space Station at this time houses about 1,000 people on it. And there's a rotating crew. There's actually a small hotel. It's a bridge between the Earth and the Moon, which contains a relatively small colony, the Armstrong colony. And it's kind of a shuttle back and forth, and it's a way to deliver supplies. But docked in the International Space Station is the ESS Kaizen, a truly magnificent ship. I described to these guys earlier what it looks like. It's almost like a more rounded version of a maple leaf. It was actually designed and for the most part built in Canada, or at least what we consider Canada in 100 years from now. And this ship, the lights start flickering and turning on as it reacts to our current ship's signature. And just really elegantly, our pod comes and docks with the Kaizen. You hear on the intercom, it says, "Welcome aboard, Kaizen crew," and your seatbelts automatically retract and your chairs sit you up, and actually they help you stand. Nearby,
Thank you.
Yeah, nearby. So if you instead of being like this, the ship has now tilted, but everything has gone 90 degrees the other way, so you can actually walk as normal to the exit lock. So I will let you guys take the Genesis from here.
So just to clarify, that was a rocket to bring us to the space station where the Kaizen is docked. So we docked with the space station?
No, you docked with the other side of the Kaizen. So now you can just directly board the ship.
Okay. I just walk towards the exit to the ship.
Yeah, so the doors open right up. They already respond to your, I would call it your life signature, which has already been uploaded to the ship's systems as "Welcome, Captain Marcus Anderson," and the door opens up.
Is there no tour guide or anything?
So it's funny you say that. There's a long docking hallway that leads to the rest of the ship, and you see 3D holographic projections. Except, you know how like they have those things that protesters wear, like masks that hide your face and they change faces? So they basically have here people, they look like people, but it constantly shifts what they look like to represent Earth's population. So basically it's a bunch of people lining a hallway like an old Roman centurion line doing this, or like even a United States Army line. And so they line the hallway and it's just people all over Earth and their faces just keep switching in their body types and
like
shapes
saluting?
and sizes. Yeah, they're basically just as you walk past them, and it's basically like a symbolic way of Earth.
Is it the hallway towards the ship? Or
Yep, into the ship, into
Cool.
the heart of the ship.
Cool.
Yep. So, you guys, I assume, leave your rocket and you pass this sort of line, and
Really laying it on a bit thick here. All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and touch the faces of the people.
they're actually not physical, so your
Right.
hand passes through them like light, and they don't change. However, at the very back row, one of them, basically, as you all pass, it sort of materializes back into the light. They all disappear, and the ship's AI comes over the intercom, and it says, "Welcome aboard, Kaizen crew. Please follow me to the bridge." And basically, there's hallways that go each way, but one hallway specifically lights up. So it's basically just an easy way to bring you guys to the bridge. Sound good?
So we don't have a human being giving us a tour. It's the AI.
So they actually made a conscious decision not to physically embody the AI. However, you could override that and create your own. That's your call. I'm not a player in this game.
For the love of God, don't name it how.
I got my next project.
Right. So you could do that, but right now it is almost like a pretty vanilla default, albeit exceptionally intelligent artificial intelligence.
Tone of voice?
Default, which is just more like mechanical. This is how I speak.
Okay, I immediately say, what I call a computer AI. Do you have a preference?
You may
What's your
refer to me as anything you wish.
Terry.
No.
I think I'd give it a command like computer alter vocal
signature
of the artificial intelligence to human female with some emotion, please.
Oh boy.
I won't be able to personally replicate that because I'm not a voice actor. But in the theater of the mind that you'll no doubt hear momentarily, it will sound just like that. Command accepted. Thank you so much. Is there any more commands that you'd like?
No, just a tour, please.
Great. Please follow the lights.
Follow the lights.
So, unless you guys have any objections, you're
If
led to...
If here's emotional and just starts crying.
It's so better? Nice to have you here. It's been so long.
Is this what you wanted?
Yeah. I'm trying.
Other than just when we leave the ship that we launched on, just putting my hand on the wall real quick and it's like, good job.
Yeah, you've done it.
Yeah.
So basically, again, if you see the outside of a leaf, so you're actually near the windows, and as you're walking down the hallway, you can see Earth outside the windows, which I must admit is probably very intense. But again, you eventually come down the corridors, which there's two parallel paths, and come to the bridge, which is elevated.
While we're walking there, I'm going to call Eden with my bracelet.
Okay.
And just be like, I can see you now. You look really nice.
Miss you already.
Yeah, literally, I'm like, I miss you.
There's a 2-second delay, which there's never been a delay before.
Yeah, and I'm probably going to be like,
right.
What the fuck?
The message you'd get in whatever code you're used to reading it in is, it must be quite a sight.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, you can decide how it's ultimately displayed in your version, but that's the message you'd...
It's a private message, so it's like,
well,
it's just like
saying.
It's a little text thing on my wrist, and I'm just like,
text chain.
Am I pretty?
The planet asks, am I pretty? And I'm like, oh my god, yes.
Do I look good?
Does the Pacific Ocean make my butt look fat?
Sweetie. Yes.
How's my Western Hemisphere?
So as you enter the bridge, the area completely lights up, and there are 9 of you making this walk, and there are pretty clear designated stations. So the CMO station, Chief Engineer station, the Captain's chair, Chief Tactical Officer up at the front. Historian is seated to the left and right of the Captain with the Chief Communications Officer. The first officer is actually meant to be standing most of the time to walk to each station as the Operations Officer, and of course there's a Science station. So, I mean, you guys can tell me what you do, but you have total freedom and flexibility and control over the ship.
I'd say, AI, can you give us a rundown on the ship's specifications?
Of course I can. The ship is capable of 0.5, don't check my math on that, because I didn't look it up beforehand, 0.5 STL, which is slower than light. So it's saying it's about half the speed of light, which is not possible, but we'll revise that number in subsequent episodes. But it is basically, instead of taking 7 months to get to Mars, it takes 30 days. So it is several magnitudes of, faster than our current rocket propulsion, but it's a completely different type. So basically, you know how the sun is a source of gravity, but also in between each planet, we can have sort of somewhat of a gravimetric effect on each other. So basically, instead of rockets pushing you, it's a way to, almost like the wind on a sails, use the gravity between 2 objects to go faster. Okay. So that's what the technology is based on. So in space, it's probably only several times faster than a normal ship, but between 2 objects like Earth and Mars, it's much faster.
Gotcha.
So that's how it works. There is ionic ablative armor on the ship. There's camouflage abilities. There's significant degree of weaponry. It's almost like they gave the ship its own predator suit-like abilities. They want the ship to be able to defend itself in case there is some sort of dystopian society that is arrayed against us, or maybe there's just camps of survivors that have somehow managed to survive. Again, Mars is about as hostile to human life as the worst parts of Antarctica, if not worse, and obviously they've been cut off. Obviously somehow the beacon is on, which means we're assuming they're alive, but it's going to be a tough sell. So we have no idea, but the ship is equipped with a lot of offensive and defensive capabilities. Rana, obviously your chief navigation officer, sits at the con, and she actually brought her hat or her helmet, her racing helmet, the one with like the centurion feathers.
Nice.
She is.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Falling
love her to
love
death.
with
Love
her.
her. Already
And
my fave.
and she sits down and she looks at the specs and she goes, fast little ship. Like she's impressed, right? She's good. So that I'd say would be the specs. In terms of what else is in the ship, I actually kind of wanted to leave that up to you guys and your imagination.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask the AI next. What's the capacity of the medical bay if we do encounter injured personnel on Mars?
So it can it's actually the biggest single room on the ship is the medical bay. It can fit between 50 and 75 patients in there, depending on how it works. And basically, instead of bringing a whole team of doctors, you'd be relying on a team of 3D holographic projections, which can hold their form. So basically what your training, Dr. Gallagher, has really been focused on not working with other people, but working with AI. That way you don't have to feed them, don't have to give them water, don't have to clothe them, right? So it's really just a power issue, not
Are they androids or holograms?
They're holograms that inside the medical bay can take solid form.
Okay. Are there androids present on the ship?
No, you are the only life forms on the ship.
I'm definitely in that room, just like touching things,
Oh, yeah.
opening drawers.
It is a world-class
I'm
medical
enjoying
facility.
myself. Pig is like just
They spared,
doing little-
expenses are a little different in the early, 22nd century, but they spared no resources. The ship is absolutely loaded, to the gills with resources for sure.
AI, can you describe the ship's living arrangements?
So there's a whole crew quarters. So there's actually only 4 decks on the ship, or 4 levels of elevation. However, one deck specifically is laid out for the crews. So each of you, of course, have your quarters. But since there's only 9 of you, basically what they have is 9 officers' quarters and then a much larger living space in case, God willing, you're transporting. I think you can actually fit well over 100 people comfortably, but it's one almost like a cargo bay that was retrofit to be more comfortable, because that way you're getting supplies in and out, water, food, medicine, right? And then it's actually really close to the med bay, up one level. Or actually occupies more than one level, I should say.
And there are lifts that bring you to each various levels?
Right, yeah, absolutely.
And also wanted to know, in the docking bay, is there something like a rover, a modernized rover, so when we get on Mars, if we wanted to
So
travel?
this ship is actually designed to land on the planet's surface and be like a vertical takeoff. So it can actually take off and land. It's just not. It just takes a little bit more effort for it to break through the atmosphere, but it's pretty damn fast.
Okay. What about what we would use when we're on the surface? So when we leave the ship, do we have some sort of vehicle?
Yep. So you would have 2 military vehicles, 3 exploration vehicles, but right now they're about the size of. I'm trying to look at an object, but basically, if you took this piece of this folder and it was about this high, your vehicles are kind of transformed into that, and then they would break themselves out and become much larger.
So do they make the noise?
I've actually never seen a Transformers movie, but I assume they make some sort of noise, that's for sure. So like that packing technology we talked about in the prologue, they would look like that. So there's those. Obviously the suits that you have environmental protection. So again, let's say that you dressed in what we would consider a formal suit. You could still have environmental protection over your face. It would just camouflage itself to be invisible.
So question, in terms of, life support, is this are we floating around? Is there gravity on the ship in space?
So the artificial gravity makes it feel like you are in a conference room. So you are not floating.
So it feels like we're on Earth.
Exactly. Yep. It's meant to simulate that, which physically is better for your health. The gravity doesn't wear on your body nearly as much as it would today. If we were to fly to Mars, the physical toll over 7 months in an artificial gravity environment would be tremendously worse, I guess you could say, than it's going to be for you guys when you make this 30-day trip. it really shouldn't have that much of a physical impact. This was admittedly designed as a rescue mission, but your comfort was certainly kept top of mind.
And also, if we do want like no gravity, I know where that button is. So.
That's true.
There's that.
Anyone else curious? I want to make sure. Anyone else curious about the ship? Because, ready to...
Could we have a rover? Because I thought of a cool acronym
No, you
for
can.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want an operations traversing terrain for excursions and research.
What does that stand?
Otter.
It's Otter.
Otter. Touche.
As soon as you
Very
said
on
an
brand.
acronym, I was like, what's it going to be? Otter? Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. That is
Yeah,
now
it is.
canon. And it may even have cannons on it so far as I know. But that's
Canon
canon.
with cannons.
That is,
Cannons are canon.
I am very down for that.
Sweet.
Other than just going to like the workshop and seeing what I have
right
to tinker with.
So basically, do you remember in your trial, you had that room that was almost like, I called it a polymath's paradise. So basically, it has all of the design and construction tools. They built what I would consider a miniature version of that in the ship. So instead of being a CMO's lab, or a med bay, I should say, it's almost like you have your own workshop. So you obviously had a lot of your tools and materials transported, ahead of time. So that is something that you absolutely have.
Got most of them in my legs.
Right, and that's true, honestly, because.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to finish and say that is certainly yours. I mean, I don't know, maybe you have a library, you have something that you're accustomed to. They would have taken your specifications and built it, but I'd prefer to rely on what you would want rather than what I imagine.
I just pick up an Allen wrench off the table. It's like, I always forget one of these, and I just shove it into my leg.
That's fair.
I think I might have followed him to the engineering bay.
Yeah, as you're doing the tour. The AI can talk to all of you concurrently as you're exploring and touring the ship for sure. So
while we're on the engineering, I was like, Mr. Young.
Yeah.
I reach out my hand. And while we're in transit to Mars, I need a favor.
Oh, yeah.
Can you possibly construct androids to help both the doctor and the rest of the ship with various operations?
Yeah, I mean, it would take some time, but...
And maybe give the AI a physical figure? How does that suit you, AI?
I was working on
Does
that.
sound good?
your will is my will, Captain.
I already have some
ominous.
ideas on that.
Okay.
Dangerous.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I don't know
Thank
if I
you.
like that.
I don't see this
Probably.
biting us in
Thank
the
you,
backside at all.
Anything that you guys want to do in the ship before we depart? Anything you're curious about?
I'm going to check if they brought the singular plant that I asked for.
Singular.
If you asked for it, I assure you it's there.
Sweet.
So, did you want a specific science lab?
Oh yeah, no, my lab's state of the art. It's like
Okay.
Tony
Tell us
Stark.
about it.
Tony Stark would be envious of my lab.
I love
it's
it.
beautiful.
That's fair.
It's all like glass, but it's also can function as a clean room. It has that sort of capability, so I can do controlled microbiological experiments on like anything I come across to ensure like that issue. I also, based on my trial, would have requested that we have components to help combat the Hydra virus, just in case,
Yeah, at the end of the war, they were able to synthesize components that were native to Mars in order to defeat the virus. So absolutely, you can have really anything like that. I mean, that would probably actually come out of the CMO station. You'd certainly have access to them if indeed.
Yeah, no, I just
wanted
wanted to make sure they were on board.
Absolutely.
Other than that,
Or they could be on board.
can I have a cat?
A cat on our ship?
I don't know.
They did it in Aliens.
I would say it's not a literal biological cat. It can be a
I can make you
holographic
a cat.
projection.
It's
and
a Roomba
in certain
named
rooms
Cat.
could
I
take
made-
physical form.
I'm
made
sorry,
her a
actually,
pig,
I
I'd
want a
make you a
Roomba.
A Roomba?
Yeah, I just want a little Roomba. I just want like a little like machine, literally that just follows me around that I can talk to.
Okay.
Because like I talk to myself and don't want to look crazy.
So basically, it's your version of pig.
Yeah.
You put a sticky note on it with a smiley face.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But really, it's just
It's your Wilson.
It's just a sticker with
God.
Earth on it.
Pig is gonna love that Roomba.
Pig-
He's gonna follow that
Oh my
Roomba
God, they're going to be
around.
friends
Immediately.
immediately.
Yeah.
Like I've never.
Later,
seen
I'm gonna
them
ask you to
mini.
build me something.
Asima, what about yourself?
Like a golden retriever.
Um,
I would have tried to read up as
All
much
these
as
animal
possible on the
figures.
specs prior to launch.
Okay.
So I will ideally would already know quite a lot about the ship and what its capabilities are.
Right.
Would there be any weapon systems that I would need to familiarize myself in person with, or are they things I've mostly already used or known?
What I would give you for free, obviously you've been going through a lot of simulations at your tactical console.
Yep.
You would know how to reorient energy to certain areas of the shielding, because obviously it's part physical, part energy. So you would know how to transfer energy, and you'd certainly have a pretty high degree of mastery via simulations over the weapon. So obviously you've never been personally involved in space combat. As a matter of fact, literally no human being has ever been involved in space combat, so that wouldn't necessarily be expected. The weapons are actually designed for space-to-surface bombardment. If you needed to exterminate what was down there, the ship is ultimately designed to do that in a...
Does it have kind of like nukes?
Yeah. My God, sir, you are the most on-brand human being of all time. In any event, that exists on the ship, and you don't need to roll for that because, again, you've been in simulation for a month.
Space pirates.
Oh God.
You could. I would advise you, for my personal human sanity, not to do that. We're going to Saturn. Wait, what? God
We're
damn
trying
it.
to leave the solar system here.
Guys, let's just say we got to Mars and just nuke it.
Can we just say season 2 is going to happen at some point, and you can do whatever you wish with the ship at that point? However, we all good? We all square?
Yes.
Arnold's room is just a standard desk, computer, some books, a treadmill, and if you like shake weights and what was that? What was that thing that you put between the future? We don't have any.
Here's your captor.
Yeah, and he's got a little yoga mat and a thigh master. He's like, I'm gonna get there. Mars is coming, and so am I.
Good.
Oh, I wanted to do one more thing.
Sure.
I wanted, in the specifications when I gave them to them, I didn't tell them why, but I asked for 2 hooks over a corner section and not to have any major instruments there, and then I'm just going to slowly put up a hammock and then just be like, I'm used to sleeping in my lap, so I'm sleeping in my lap.
I like that a lot, actually. I think that works really well.
Did they bring the stuff?
Yes.
Good.
Roll with it. Yep.
I said yes.
Of
it's
course.
now official.
You're gonna regret that.
Stuff is
You're gonna regret that.
Is it lobsters?
He thought it
Maybe.
was lobsters, but there's a hole in the bag.
All right. So obviously you have had the chance to tour the ship. At this whole, by the way, a lot of what's happening is being broadcast worldwide because they want that optics. So
not him on the thigh master, right?
No, but you're seeing it and realizing it's there. I think you guys on Earth are some of the biggest celebrities right now, right? Everybody knows your name. As much of their history as you've given them access to. You're the 9 chosen people. And Tane and Rana and Anjali, they have their own rooms and their own shtick too, and they're just looking around the ship. But ultimately, the IAI, the time has come to launch. So you 9 go to the bridge, you sit at your stations, and it's kind of a solemn moment where you, Captain Anderson, have to give the word to take us out.
Is there a live feed with Earth and the whole planet?
Many different camera angles from the station, from the ship.
So
from Earth.
we're live.
You
with
are
planet
live.
Earth.
Correct.
And billions of people on it.
I'm afraid so.
I'd say, Mr. Nagata, open communications with Earth Command.
Command here.
Permission to undock.
You have permission. Please undock at your discretion.
Thank you. All right, guys. Let's do it.
Great. Rana says, about time. Does her Staples easy button. There's more branding, I guess, but to get sued by everybody apparently. But easy buttons us out.
I text Earth real quick and I'm just see you soon.
Right.
Going through a tunnel might lose service.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Quite literally a gravity tunnel. So it's not unfair. Not an unfair analogy.
Are we gonna feel it?
You hear the sounds of the docking clamps keeping you in place, and the ship, comes and it's on its own inertia. And Rana, sets in the course. I mean, this was actually kind of pre-piloted, and so she's actually literally pressing a button.
Do we hear audio from Earth
No, but what I was gonna say is as the ship takes off and flies into the sunset, so to speak.
I hope not.
Go into sun.
Game over.
Oh, we were going to Mars.
Wrong red
Had the
thing.
coordinates in wrong.
Right. People all over Earth, are really affected by this. I mean, obviously, none of us were alive in 1969, when we landed on the moon, but it's a kind of watershed moment like that, I think, for a lot of people on Earth. Again, we've achieved this incredible golden age, and albeit while it was at great cost, I mean, you have kids that are being affected by, humans going on this great rescue mission to make up for our past mistakes. So all around the world and, virtually every walk of life, you see that shot of the Kaizen, leaving Earth's orbit and going to Mars, and eventually it fades. And, the broadcast on Earth, there's the traditional, and I guess we'll see him soon, wrap up. And
I was gonna walk behind
U.S. Earth.
I was gonna
U.S.
walk
Earth.
behind Mr. Nagata, and then just
Who's Nagata?
Tane.
Tane.
Oh, Nata.
Tane and Gata.
Nata. Mr. Nata.
Yep.
So I'm gonna walk behind him.
I added a G.
While we're kind of going away, and actually
it is,
lean
but
over.
it's Ngata. It's pronounced Nata, I believe.
I gotta write the G in there again?
I believe so. Again, I'm
I
sure
just
someone will
erased
correct
it.
me. I'm not great with
Just
pronunciation.
gonna lean over his console and just basically turn off communication with Earth.
Yeah, I mean, they don't.
It's Captain Anderson out.
All right.
Just turn off.
And they were
everything.
expecting. That's fine. What are your Rana would turn to you. What are your orders, Captain?
We're going to Mars.
All right. So Rana plugs in.
Roll credits.
She has like full regalia, like literal regalia, like. As she.
I'd like to, even though we're in like a closed area, there's definitely no breeze. I definitely think those bristles are.
Yeah.
I would say that's reasonable.
Yeah. I'm going.
It's just the internal, air.
The
flow
AC is on.
systems.
She has an AC right above her.
So the ship is set.
There's an AC built into the helmet to blow them.
Obviously, eventually you guys are going to meet for the traditional send-off dinner. So what we're going to do is we're going to fast forward time to dinner that evening. So about 6 hours have passed, and you guys are going to have your first dinner together as a crew inside the, I guess they would call it a kitchen. It's certainly more elaborate than that. But the next scene that we're going to play is dinner together. So I will let you dictate what you eat, what you want to do. I did not plan any of this. This is totally up to you.
So how does the food work, Ian? In terms of is there food stored in the ship for months, or is there like a replicator that turns paste into lobster?
Both. So basically, they can interject. Basically, they can. It's different. It's not a replicator, but basically, what they can do is they can make something look like lobster, taste like lobster, but not actually
So it's
be lobster.
like a 3D printer.
Yeah, but it has the same similar nutrients, but there also is quite a bit of food storage, right? Just in case, for whatever reason, as a backup, the system goes offline.
goo.
So it's a trick. Obviously, whereas I'm pretty sure replicators actually make the actual components. This isn't that. It's more like it looks like it. To some, it tastes like it, and it has similar nutrient profile.
It's not dehydrated and then rehydrated.
So
No.
I've had MREs. Is this like an MRE, or is this like pretty good replicated food?
It's pretty damn good.
Okay.
I would say, though, a chef would be insulted at me saying that, but I would say that it's more like
hospital food?
Sorry.
I don't want to say like this in a negative way, but it's like the Olive Garden, where you go, you can certainly enjoy your meal, but an Italian chef would
They're
probably
suing you, bro.
They're suing us.
but an Italian chef like in Florence would probably be like,
Lord of the
That's not
Rings.
Italian.
but it still tastes really good. Like I clearly enjoy it. I'll go there, I'll mess up the raviolis.
Like if I was 16, I would like give this to a date.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely, and you'd be proud of it.
Okay.
We have unlimited breadsticks?
Oh yeah, I mean, but again, so you guys sit down for dinner. I mean, Anjali, Tane, Rana, they're kind of looking to you guys. I mean, this is the first time that you guys have been together outside of simulations. This is real. I mean, now I think the reality of this situation that you're the 9 people that kind of have to make this happen. So if this is your first dinner, I would say, trying to feel each other out a little bit. But I mean, I don't want to be the one to start. So does anyone have any idea of what you're going to want to do?
Well, I'm going to just yell out, I'm sitting next to Rana, and just sit down immediately.
I think
I think she wants to sit next to Rana.
I would say she'd be touched by that. She's probably like getting her version of a 21st or 22nd century like ribeye, except that it's probably like the Impossible Burger version of that.
Which I hate.
I like it.
Going on record
Now
with
sued
that
by
one.
Burger King, too.
before we start this scene,
How many lawsuits can we get?
which one of us, or I guess, has anyone known each other prior to this? Does anyone know each other prior to this?
Yeah. I knew her a little bit, and then I knew you enough to make you pig.
We're like very distant colleagues. Essentially, like my organization has hired him for because I don't have the only pig. Essentially.
Okay.
So.
And I think Seema?
Yeah.
Seema and I kind of know each other.
I would say you know of her, and she knows of you. You may have met at a conference.
I think she was in one of my classes when I did briefly teach.
That's possible. That's definitely on the table.
And then also, do I know Miss Reddy or Commander Reddy? Do I know any of those people?
So
do they know any of those people?
She's kind of like the 22nd version of like, if you combined a female Aragorn with Richard Branson, that's what she is like. She is kind of humanity's Stan.
I don't know who Richard Branson is.
He's a eccentric billionaire, adventurer, traveler.
Oh, okay.
You know.
I've definitely heard the name, but I'm in the same boat.
Right,
I can't
right.
Put a face
but
to
like
it.
she has a very.
Well,
like,
what's her background? How would I have met her before?
Business.
Did
Her
she like
background's
live in the
business.
woods?
So I would not have met her potentially.
You might have crossed paths, but it's unlikely.
And none of us know Rana or Tane prior.
Everybody here probably has heard of Tane. He's one of the world's most famous authors. He's the equivalent of a cardinal in the Children of Earth, which is a predominant pseudo-religion on Earth at the time. So he's both of those things.
And Rana is the athlete.
So yeah, she's the greatest of all time in racing. So she's
just the greatest of all time.
Yeah. So remember how I described like they had you know how the Iron Man is running, swimming, and biking, I believe.
Yeah.
So in the 22nd century, there's that of racing. So there's there's car racing, plane racing, and then atmopod racing. And so
Turtle
you have to
racing?
do all three. What's that?
Turtle racing?
That is not involved, unfortunately. In
Well,
this
what if
case.
they're really big
Arnold
turtles?
racing.
Right.
I'm terrible at it.
The turtle costume.
That is the sport that she's involved with, and she is clearly the best in the world at.
Gotcha.
So you're asking if like any of us know each other?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if Arnold knows.
Did anyone here ever run jazz crystals across the Western Hemisphere border under a guy named Chapu? Nope? Then you wouldn't know any of me.
That was awesome. I just
Okay.
I give you a strange glance and just continue eating in silence. Bizarre.
Arnold's been around.
I would say that Tane would just say, I don't think any words are needed that the Earth didn't already say when we were selected. But I would just like to say on the behalf of the people who believe in how far we've come with and for the planet that I feel very grateful to be on this ship with all of you right now on such a mission. That's all he'd say. Anjali would probably say something like, this is our opportunity as human beings to indeed prove how far we've come. Whereas Rana would just say something along the lines like Ricky Bobby level, I hope we go fast. Like she's like very focused and she wants this ship running at a high velocity. Like I want to get there in 29 days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that.
I want
type.
this ship to be shaking.
Yeah. Tearing apart itself at the seams, right? So yeah.
I'd probably also trying to break the ice of like getting us to talk to each other as a group as opposed to individuals, and just like, so why don't we all talk about our trials? Like how did those go for everyone?
Mine was awful. It was awful.
Well, they're designed to be awful.
I passed.
Oh, good.
Great.
Mine was artificial.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Mine as well.
I'm not into artificial.
Oh, okay. Well, I keep that in mind.
And that's why I brought this. I pull out a legitimate bottle of scotch.
Okay.
It's not fake alcohol. It's not replicated. And I brought it with me. I offer it to whoever. Anyone care for a taste?
I'm gonna give you a strange look. Like,
The 15-year-old's like,
I go, Dr. Gallagher, come on.
Oh God.
Rana
wince,
takes the shot.
I wince a little bit and then hold up a chip out of my pocket and then just quietly put it back in my pocket.
aw.
Aw.
Oh, okay. Anyone else?
I want
You don't have
a
enough.
Teaspoon's worth of whiskey.
I pour him a big glass.
Rana definitely wants to sip a little bit with you guys. Both Tane and Anjali pass, though.
Well, regardless of what you're drinking, I'd like to propose a toast to this ship, to this crew, to this mission.
Some tea.
You know, this is pretty serious, but I think we can still have fun. Not take it too seriously.
Serious enough, though. If people are in trouble, we should.
It's true.
Cheers to fun.
Like 65% serious.
Yes, 65% roughly.
To the Earth, to Mars, and back again.
Yeah.
Cheers.
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 Try not to get fired.
So with that,
awkward
you know,
at this point.
you guys eat. It's a relatively amicable dinner. You know, like Dr. Gallagher suggested, you talk about the trials. You know,
I talk about mine.
do you tell everybody?
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, listen, I don't like people. I'm just gonna be real blunt about that.
Good starting point. Good. Go on.
Thanks.
Well, if you want, I can make you something that has no resemblance of a person.
That'd be perfect. But here's my issue. All of you had trials, and all of the people that you went up against had the same trials, right? To your knowledge?
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't.
What do you mean?
You cheated.
What's it called?
It's a sight into yesterday, but it happened on Mars, which should be impossible.
Yeah. And I say that. It should be impossible. I had one.
Can I roll for intuition?
Yeah.
Go for
and
it.
maybe no, I'm not trying to see if you're lying. I'm trying to see
Like what that
trying to
means.
like, you know, what exactly what that means.
Please do.
Because we're aware that a sight into yesterday is very rare, and
it should only be in Earth's history.
Yeah.
I think I could probably add empathetic to that role.
Depends what you're trying to get.
I'm trying to empathize and process what she's saying, and see. Well, one.
I'll let you add it. We'll see where it goes.
Hey, roll good.
Oh Jesus! Thanks, man. I guess it's just 6.
A 6?
Yeah.
So obviously, you know, she's telling the truth, and you'd certainly, agree with her that sight into yesterday is a really rare gift that the Earth pretty much has to bestow upon you. Your trials were basically translations of an SIY into a simulation, and if indeed what Nora is saying, that shouldn't exist. So, you know, you can tell that she experienced that, and she's also telling you that her colleagues or, you know, competitors, so to speak, in the science field,
They didn't.
did not, and that's ironclad. I would say Tane would say that shouldn't be possible. What did you see?
I saw Mars. I was on Mars the day we lost contact, the day the ship left Mars and came to Earth. And here's the issue, and here's the greater mystery that I feel like we're gonna have to look into while we're doing this. And what I am mainly caring about is the fact that the shipment that left Mars that day was filled with hydrovirus, and that's how the hydrovirus got to Earth in the first place.
Just a quick check in with the DM. The ship made it back to Earth?
The last ship did.
Yeah.
That was the last ship to.
There was one ship left.
Obviously, ships arrived every 3 months or so. This was the last ship after the Great Calamity started to make it from Mars to Earth.
And Hydra killed millions, if not like billion.
I don't think it killed billions, but it was a significantly potent weapon in the war that caused.
For whatever reason, I was immune to it.
Well, it affects some
Right.
people.
You were, I think, the only person alive during the war, and it did not affect you.
Because it affects like
It was
one
a
every
1 out of
3.
3, yeah.
It affects 2 every 3. Well, so basically 1 every 3 is gangrenous death. You're 1 out of
lucky.
3 is your white blood cells get eviscerated, so it's an eventual, probably infection-related death, and 1 out of 3 is completely unaffected. It's genetically engineered to be that way.
So you're saying you experienced a sight into yesterday, legitimately?
Yes.
And you're saying that the Hydra virus
Was on that shipment.
was on that shipment, the last ship back to Earth?
Yeah. How else would it have gotten to Earth in the first place?
That's not. Well, I
hold
thought
on.
it was manufactured on Earth, but the information you're sharing with me now.
It wasn't. The components of the
lead us to
hydrovirus could only be counteracted by Martian things native to Mars. It's a Martian.
That's why I'm saying that I'm shocked to hear that. That's new news to me.
What did the judges think?
I didn't tell them.
Hold on. You got information.
They were watching all of us.
You got information.
They didn't see it?
Earth didn't let them see it. Eden didn't show them what I saw.
Then why didn't you tell them?
That's a good question. Why didn't you?
This impacts the whole mission.
What I know from a mechanical standpoint, like the device that puts our consciousness into our like training into that testing thing, is that something regulated by Earth and Eden, or is that something like a?
That's just humans created that. So
that's
something
that
is
was
definitely
outside.
awry.
Yeah.
I would say
And you're sure that this is a look into yesterday and not just like everyone else?
No, they spoke with Aristotle and Darwin and the great thinkers that have existed, and you were judged in their competition about how you responded to being in such a prestigious place and being able to communicate findings and yourself, and like that was their trial.
I should add that they, just as a GM for a second, the judges saw Nora participate in the trials that her competitors
Did she
took.
communicate that to us?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, I'm just trying to add
Dr.
that.
Marsh, in your professional opinion, how is that possible?
It's not. That's why I'm curious, and that's why I didn't tell them. It's not possible, and I didn't want it to impact the entire mission. If I got a sight into yesterday and they saw me complete it, then one, Eden has me down to a science. Like, she can replicate my thoughts, and if it was her that created it,
My only question on that is the device that puts us into those simulations isn't regulated by the Earth. It's regulated by the people who built it and were testing us. So that would mean that that system was either hacked or reworked from the inside.
I will say, just as a point of order, is that the systems that you all took, except for obviously Nora, you took a trial on, is human-built, human-regulated. It is functionally a simulation of a type of sight into yesterday, right? Whereas a sight into yesterday is quite literally a direct conduit of consciousness between the planet and your brain. So basically, we know, the evidence is that Dr. Marsh was strapped into a simulator but experienced something
Ian,
else.
The Earth is still a machine, no doubt. The Eden machine, Earth.
That's a philosophical debate.
Which we're not about to get into.
Dr. Marsh, do you think there's a chance that they simply lied to you and they knew exactly what you experienced, and this could be something that's a conspiracy? I don't know. We have to think of something here.
Maybe you're insane.
Good argument. We can test it.
I will say that you got information from your classmates. They did take the other one.
Yeah, I double-checked. I did my research. Also,
No, but I'm saying, do you think the scientists in charge of judging you simply lied to you and they knew exactly what you saw and they chose?
Why?
No, because I looked into it.
Why would they choose her out of the other scientists?
Well, they don't. Again, the Earth chooses who the Earth chooses.
That's true.
On top of,
but the scientists couldn't.
I watched my trial. I watched myself. It wasn't me that was speaking. That wasn't me.
I understand that.
They saw my trial.
They say that.
It is possible that it could all be fabricated and that they picked her. I mean, assuming that they knew that you speak directly to the Earth with your machine, to give you a different trial and then lie and say that we gave you the same trial.
But it was an actual sight into yesterday. Only the machine could have done that, and it's completely unregulated. People just get them from the Eden.
I mean, the medical trial was completely based around the war and the Hydra virus directly. I mean, I saw what that illness did to those people. There is no way that that's a coincidence, that our trials essentially were cause and effect. I mean, why would they give us that trial and not connect it to anyone else's?
Well, it makes sense for the medical trials. We're going to Mars, and we know that the Hydra virus came from Mars. If people are affected on Mars, whoever the medical technician is needs to be able and understand and combat it. For me, I feel like it was the last day of contact.
Okay, I guess my question here is, if we're thinking about this logically, every single trial was a trial. Yes, we all had what would assumedly be a test.
Yes.
We could say, right? That you had to pass. Did you have to pass anything? Was it a test?
It was an experience.
Right.
But
that's not my question. I mean, I'm just saying all of us here had to.
Are you questioning my skill levels?
A puzzle here. If you were looking into a thought or a past memory, that would be different. Logically, they wouldn't give the scientists a trial that's not testing them.
It wasn't a test. I was in a lab explaining something, then there was a lockdown. From the lockdown, then I started seeing that there were huge errors in the books and the experiments being done, things that shouldn't have been happening by any scientific standard. And then I saw the shipment had left with components that make up the Hydra virus. And
You
then
accidentally killed 2 guards with lightning.
I may have also accidentally killed 2 people in it, but again, citing to yesterday, they were already dead.
Dr.
That happens.
You spent.
I'm not done.
Yeah.
I will silence my captain. Yeah, listen.
Captain.
The last thing you need to know, and then I'm going to leave because I'm not enjoying your insinuation that I wouldn't have passed whatever trial they gave me.
I'm just saying you didn't pass, is all I'm saying.
That's fair.
Wow.
That's just the truth.
Can you pass the height restrictions on a roller coaster? Like, where are we
I'm
going?
just saying, you didn't pass. We all passed.
I believe
I would have passed with flying colors, by
I
the
was
way.
a naked shaman that brought water back. And you just see something explode. I've done that.
Haven't told you it exploded, but yeah, all right. Now I tell you there was an explosion on Mars the day the ship left and the day we lost contact.
I also,
Still meh.
possibly answer your question, if the test was initially her speaking with like past entities, Darwin and great minds, it was just to see if she could hold her own in that setting.
I'm not so concerned about those specifics. Dr. Marsh, you spent years in isolation, correct?
Yes.
Have you ever had visions before?
So now you're questioning my sanity. I'm
No.
now going to pick up my tray,
Hold on.
throw it in the garbage, and walk towards the door.
Hold on. Nora, come here.
What?
Yes. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter whether or not you pass the test. What matters is if she's correct and what she saw is true, you might be... Something's already manipulating this from the shadows, or something that doesn't want to be known. Someone. That old woman at the city.
Light bulb. Legs. Do you remember when the city was compacting on itself?
Unfortunately. Yeah.
Yes.
I've been trying to find a workaround for that.
Do you remember the woman that we met? She was on that computer.
Yeah.
Do you remember what she was looking at? What she had typed in? During that instance, when we were there, the android was typing into the machine. Cyborg. Rosebud. But then it also typed in Nora's trial.
Yes. Right.
That was the password that they
Yes.
had put to lock out the machine. So when you hacked the machine to turn it back on, that was uncovered.
And then this being disappeared.
So you're saying that this entity might have been the entity responsible for her trial? Her trial not being actually...
Possibly, yeah. I mean, putting all things together now, whoever this entity may have been could have put into motion.
But Dr. Marsh has had communication with her before, and she's one of the few, if not the only one.
We chill.
Do you think that entity was a representative of Earth?
We don't know, Captain.
Well, I'm just theorizing.
All
right.
I know.
We're theorizing without evidence. That's guessing.
Didn't we all see the video from the mountain? And see,
Everybody knows that video.
Yeah,
for
so
and
sure.
that's
see
the
the
old woman.
figure that
You
was the
saw what
same-
she said.
We all
Yeah.
saw the old woman too, but just in a different context.
She was...
Hello, knife.
Yeah.
I mean, I was not there.
I
So
don't,
this is all.
I don't want to have
No,
to
but
shank
none
a
of
bitch,
you were
but I will.
none of you were in the mountain.
No,
Can't say
no,
that
I
in
mean,
Massachusetts anymore.
this
She never
Right.
she never saw any cyborg.
Right, all of you were there. This is news to me by a long shot. And me
Right.
and Rana. Neither one of us were there. So
That is true.
Oh,
all
right.
we saw was carnage. So
Oh,
what
we
are
saw
talking
robots
about?
from
There
not Earth.
was a entity in the shape of an old woman, messing with the equipment.
She was the reason. They were the reason, because it seems there's.
The old woman said she did something along the lines of not wanting to harm someone, or not wanting to harm us.
She said to you, I hope you like what we did with the place.
No.
And she said to me, which was very ominous, I hope you like what we did with the place.
Pretty much.
So that could mean the city.
I don't remember what you told me.
She said,
We mean you
they're
no
watching
harm.
you.
So all in all, we apparently have a few mysteries on our hands now.
Just a few.
I sent a little robot over to poke her, and she just picked him up and then took control away from me, which has never happened with any of my creations.
That is accurate.
No, just your own life.
Based off of your professional knowledge, did she appear to be an android? Cybernetic in any form?
There was no flesh that I could see of. I mean, she seemed purely mechanical, but I mean, I didn't get a close enough look.
Did you recognize a make, a model, anything that seemed of Earth design?
Would I have recognized any sort
old
of
woman 0.0?
Yeah, exactly.
human type mechanics out of what she looked like?
So the description,
Earth type.
right? So the
mechanics.
description of this individual, clearly cyborg, meaning both organic and inorganic. However, the description was their humanity has faded.
Meaning?
Androids and cyborgs. There's no such thing as a cyborg on Earth, really, because no one. I mean, people might have implants, but
I got metal legs.
Right, exactly. But I wouldn't say that you are like the intertwinement between the two. You have components that are this and the components that are organic.
Cut off at the
There are many
waist.
androids, however, they are intentionally made to look human. So this, in my opinion, is unique.
Yeah, from a medical standpoint, we all know the rules. We stand by those rules. Whatever we could or could not do, there are certain boundaries that the Earth as a community has decided we won't pass that threshold. So if you're telling me that this being exists organically and inorganically, it is certainly not something that has been sanctioned by what I understand is the Earth's medical government.
So my question is, what if it's not from Earth at all?
Continue.
Well, then it's very old.
It would be. Like the one that was left in the mountain with the beacon for Mars.
How would they have gotten?
Must have been on the last ship.
Again,
Very
we're
possible.
hypothesizing with no evidence. It's really...
If this has something to do with something that's on Mars, we're not going to find out
A
until
second to yesterday, Doctor, is certainly evident. Comes from Earth itself.
Unfortunately, Nora, I apologize, but we cannot verify that that even happened. There's no physical evidence that it occurred.
But again,
Going
second
to
to yesterday is unequivocal evidence.
Can I Eden?
Yeah, I'll let you do
So
it.
what she
All right.
experienced,
If
if
it's
it
a side-
indeed was
if-
second to yesterday, is evident.
Okay. But she's the only one saying it.
That's right. But I trust her.
What if she's...
We can verify
Correct.
that right now with a science roll.
Remember to 2
She can-
17.
So what? Give me
Remember to
the
two.
exact
I think she should get
framework
2
of your
sixes.
ask.
Oh, yeah. I'll do it next time.
What's your exact framework of your ask?
Eden, can you pull up my site into yesterday from my trial?
At this point, let's just say that it's been a little while since your ship left Earth. There's obviously the
It's been
appropriate
6
delay.
minutes.
Yeah, exactly. There's been a little bit of a delay, but
Which,
the answer that you
again,
get back
is
is you did
so-
not have a sight into yesterday during your trial.
I mean, I feel like that's enough information for me.
Well, I thought you said there was a second history. So
I'm aware of what the response
Earth is saying.
Earth is saying.
Yeah.
My God, space madness.
It seems
This
as if
early on?
Yes.
6 minutes
It
in.
seems as if that,
6 minutes into
that
space.
terrorist entity may have interfered with your trial.
Nora, I'm skeptical, but I believe
Or,
you.
hear me out on this.
I'm just
I apologize. She's insane.
Also
Again,
possible.
we could test it. I have a great lab, so
You could.
we could test it.
Yeah, I think I
have
would
an
say
MRI
I would
machine.
say, Dr. Marsh, do you consent to being tested?
The fact that the 9 of us have made it here, I don't think any of us is insane or that would have been ruled out.
That's.
Regardless of
I'm not the doctor here.
If you
Dr.
rule it out,
Gallagher,
then-
what's your opinion?
I mean, I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist. However,
We should really have one of those.
yeah,
Tane, what do you think?
Tane is both
Yeah.
of those.
There you go.
And-
we should have one of those. Great.
and Tane would say,
Oh my God.
the way that this is unfolding, I'm no Sherlock Holmes, but the way that this is unfolding seems to me that if we can rule out
We should have one
a
of those.
hallucination, then we know by definition that your trial was interfered with with foreign influence. So then, if that's the case, we know it wasn't Earth giving you that, because Earth itself has confirmed it, and we know the sight into yesterday took place on Mars. I think we can safely assume that it must have come from elsewhere. If you're...
And I'm going to butcher this quote, but if you rule out the improbable... No, if you rule out the possible, the probable, then the only thing left is the impossible. So that must be...
So what we're saying
I don't know
here,
the quote.
doctor to doctor to doctor.
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 Correct.
I am a natural logic and a natural skeptic. So in my profession, we want a diagnosis, you do the tests, right? So we want to know if you're having hallucinations. We have an MRI machine. I absolutely can do a brain scan. I could hook you up to machines and just test if you're lying, which I don't believe that you're lying. I don't think that you would lie about this because that wouldn't make any sense to the team. Why lie?
What would the angle be?
Right. Exactly. What's the logic behind
I
it?
am a human lie detector.
So there we go.
I say you reasonably apply that. She is
I think so.
absolutely telling the truth.
Yeah, I get that. I would say, Dr. March, I hope you don't take it personally, but I would like you to take these tests. You could have been drugged for all we know.
Right.
By
I mean, we could do a
unknowingly
full body
drugged, and
scan
that could
with
have been
every person
hallucination.
here.
We don't know. But
Yeah.
do you consent?
Do I have to talk to anyone?
No.
Probably me. To be fair. But then again, to be fair, you're probably going to
You're
have
talking
to
to us
talk
right
me
now.
more than just
Yeah, because this is
now.
pertinent information that needed to be spread. Otherwise, I wasn't planning.
Also, just a quick question before we end this conversation. Why haven't we talked to Earth and our team of people who are supposed to be helping us? And also, do they know anything about this? Like,
I purposely didn't tell them.
I guess that's my question.
They're not the ones going to Mars.
So, Asima's organization has been the one hunting for information about the individual, the one who helped the hikers activate the beacon. No information outside of that. She was found by the hikers, was able to communicate. She was subsequently spotted in Sao Paulo, and then of course in the Kaizen village. There literally exists no other information about this individual.
I would like to say, before anyone says anything, computer, upload a 4-dimensional image of the entity that part of our crew came into contact with. The label as a terrorist, and project it in front of us.
Done.
4-dimensional?
3-dimensional.
Well-
Is it 4D? Like you can touch it and like smell it and stuff.
4D, I think, is.
If
Why do
you're
you
in
wanna
the
smell
med
the
lab,
old
you could
lady?
actually create you could feel it.
So for now, it's just 3D, I guess.
Yep.
Everyone's looking at it, I'm assuming.
Yep.
And say computer has Earth since the incident made any headway as to looking deeper into who or what this may be?
The identity of the individual is still unknown. The rest of the information about this individual is classified.
Classified to us?
Well, the default setting.
I just asked the DM if my character knows anything about this.
No.
No idea.
Nope. You're in the same boat.
Even though I may be one of them, potentially.
Possibly, but yeah, that wouldn't.
Do
have
you
anything
know
to do
anything
with
about
it.
this?
Amula's organization is typically the one with the clearance, but it's
But would
classified
I-
by default.
Yeah, but would I be able to declassify it?
Yep.
Great. Do I have to roll for that?
No.
Great.
You just have to give permission.
Permission to declassify that information, computer.
Okay.
Do it.
Your organization
that's fine.
feels this
Just
person
got
is an extraterrestrial. They are not native to Earth.
Understood.
The evidence about what they can construct via visual records implies that a lot of their material is not Earth in origin, which means one of two things. Either they just came here or they were here the whole time.
Well,
Question.
Either
Is there
hiding
any other
or-
information historically of any other extraterrestrial being ever being on Earth other than this being?
No.
The Mothman.
No.
Thanks.
And again, extraterrestrial meaning
You're welcome. actually happened.
That, I believe, what all that technically means is just not from Earth. It could have been built by humans on Mars.
Correct.
And thus be Martian. But
And thus have the Martian thoughts and recollections.
But it is
of
human,
day.
partially. Agreed?
I'm sorry?
It is partially human.
It takes the.
it has partial
that way.
organic components.
But it appears human.
Yep.
And based off of the scans that we've used on both the episode in the caves and also with this woman, the terrorist, appearing.
I would say that she's explicitly not a terrorist according to Amula's organization.
Okay.
Interesting.
Then what is she labeled as? Or
Person of
it's
interest.
labeled as?
Exactly. Person
So
of
this person of interest, none of our scanners picked up whether it's partially. So it's cybernetic. So it's half.
It's cyborg. So meaning organic and inorganic.
So what's that organic element?
The organic element appears to be, well, again,
Is it water-based? Is it
Probably
pure
human.
So I would.
I know, but that's what I'm trying to determine
It's like
here.
the circulatory system happens to be mechanical, whereas organs are somewhat organic. It's quite literally what we might consider a bizarre intertwinement between machine parts and organic human-based parts.
So like, if a person started to deteriorate over time and they kept having to replace organic aspects of themselves with inorganic aspects to maintain life past their natural age.
That's not an unfair hypothesis.
Can you give us a simple description of what?
Oh yeah, no,
I
we
was
don't approve
just
of it.
about to ask, even though
But-
unethical on Earth, when we sent the first Martian colony, do we know if those standards were also put in place for them?
No.
Okay, so then I would have that.
Morality-wise, we would assume that humans, like, we collectively understood that this was not allowed.
Right, but we never sent them up there with those standards. So I guess
Whatever they
personally, I would
decided to
be,
do in order to survive.
I would be putting the train of thought together that it's possible that the last ship that came back, this person was on, and then as they started to deteriorate in hiding, they had no other. Well, they had already started making themselves mechanical on Mars.
I think Miss Reddy might know more about this than any of us.
Why?
She's a businesswoman, and there are many private enterprises on Mars.
Her experience, well, that's true. All she would know is the history leading up to it is that the rumors were there was always research about ways to extend life into borderline immortality via cybernetic. It's not an unfair hypothesis to suggest this is an application, albeit it's banned on Earth. So whether this person is newly to Earth or was, on Earth since the calamity and trapped in the mountain in some capacity, it is theoretically possible.
Can you, as a DM, just give us a very simple description of what this entity looked like? Like human female appearance?
Yeah, I would say she looks like a woman in her 90s, maybe even a little over 100, hunched over. Her skin, it's not wrinkled in the same way with an old woman, but it's almost like she's faded, right? So like her skin would be thinner than ours because behind, her skull, maybe there's patches that have been filled in with, inorganic components.
It's like when your jeans get ripped and you just patch right over it.
Right,
And
exactly.
then another rip happens and you patch right over it.
It's like I said, the humanity is faded. I mean, I'll leave that up to your theater of the mind, of course, but that's how I see her in my head.
Would my organization be able to date the inorganic material that's part of her?
Visually, it would be really hard, especially because the vast majority of it, if not all of it, is non-Earth in origin. So
we
you
never
know
got
how
a
like
sample.
with trees you can count the rings? There's no counting of the rings visually.
Two of us were wearing Predator suits, which do have scanners.
Yep.
And did those scanners pick up anything, any schematics, anything about that entity? Besides the basic stuff that you've already shown with us.
I wouldn't say, I'll let you roll to see if there's any luck that could be associated with that. I would say, in general, it's very unlikely in this case, but I'll let you roll for it.
What do you want me to add to it? Nothing? Just
yeah, this is a 2d6 luck roll, in my opinion. So
Let's
anyone
do it.
that was wearing that suit, I'll give it to you, but...
6.
8.
Yeah. So nothing incremental, assuming that such information could exist.
Well, to the point that Arnold made earlier, I think until we're on Mars, I think it's all skepticism and possibilities, unless we know something else.
Can we scan the ship to see if we can identify whether she is on it?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ominous.
So how do you go about doing that, specifically?
Computer, scan the ship. See if there's anything
Like this.
Any sort of any sort of anomalies. On
Computer, can you scan the ship for any partially organic or inorganic?
Extraterrestrial.
Find something weird.
You said to give the AI personality, right?
Doctor, you've done it.
We don't find there's nothing out of the ordinary ship except for this really cute pig. I was like, if that's the personality.
Oh, that's not what we're doing. Computer, delete that personality immediately.
It's pig.
So the computer does a full scan.
If you ask the AI, that's what will come back.
Wait, hold on. What were the exact words you just said?
I said, if you ask the AI to scan the ship, that's the result.
No, what was the result? That's what I'm asking.
There's no anomalous readings on the ship.
Scan the outside of the ship.
Have they always been?
Because they could literally not need to breathe and just be chilling, like
on the outside of our billions.
There's nothing.
There's just some old
lady
lady just hanging on the window.
Is the
grab boots
is the AI centralized to any one room in the?
Well, there's a mainframe
right.
where they're like the hardware that powers it, but it can be obviously perpetually in the ship.
Is it okay if I give out a couple orders?
I feel like we're trying to break the mystery a little
Step on
bit.
anyone's toes, but
Listen, I don't want to control, but listen, I mean, ultimately, it's literally impossible to solve this on the ship. However, in theory, there might be more information available to you. I'll let you dictate that pacing. We're all sitting here having a good time, right? But it is objectively impossible to Sherlock finish this now. However, maybe there's more.
That's what you think.
Correct. That is exactly what
I got a copy of Ian's script I stole right here.
I'd like to solve it.
Okay, go ahead. Roll a 12. No, you won't.
You just roll snake.
You're gonna say, guys, well, I'm gonna take information away from you.
You have bad gas.
No, that's you.
You think so hard you have an aneurysm.
Right.
You die.
All right, I'd like to interject here.
Okay, Dr. Gallagher, you wanted to say?
So I'm just a little bit confused here. I love the Earth and our government, and I don't understand.
And I'm not compelled to say that at all.
Are we still on air?
Is this China?
I really don't understand why we're not including the people who sent us on this journey. In the position that I am in, trust those people implicitly. If I were still on Earth, I would want to know this information, and the information that we might be holding back from our colleagues could be detrimental to the human lives on Earth. So I think that it is...
Anything that happened during what I saw, even if you don't believe what I saw, it already happened. There's literally nothing that could happen on Earth that would be impacted by what we're doing right now. The only thing is anybody who knows anything about this could clean house.
Just to satiate you, Dr. Gallagher, computer, connect with Dr. Dune via 3D telecom link. So that he would disappear a 3D image of him standing.
There'll be a delay in your communication, but we'll play that real time regardless. You are able to establish a presence.
So he appears
a telepresence, yeah.
Computer, is this really Dr. Dune?
Yes.
So, Dr. Gallagher would like to ask you some questions, Dr. Dune. We apologize if you were busy.
Again, there's an unfortunate delay, but no problem. I'm at the Kaizen crew's discretion. What is it I can do for you?
We have some information that I feel is something that you should be privy to, Doctor.
Already, just a few days into your flight? That's impressive work, even for you.
We're going to tell on you.
Doctor, could you tell me, would you have any reason to believe that the tests that any of us here in this room experienced were tampered with in any way?
Of course not.
We have reason to believe that that's incorrect.
Please state your evidence.
Adun, I have reason to believe that my test was tampered with.
How so?
Well, my first question is, did you or anybody have anything to do with that?
That's a good question. Let's find out, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm going to roll.
Just roll a 6.
I rolled a 10.
What does he say?
He says no.
Human lie detecting.
Go ahead.
All right. Come on, baby.
2 at a time. 2 at a time.
7 plus, so 12.
You feel he's being honest with you.
I had a sight into yesterday.
What was the memory?
It wasn't of Earth. That's the problem.
That's not possible.
Tell me about it.
What did you see?
I saw Mars.
So you tell him. What
I
the memory is?
explained to him and say I'm a little scared.
No gorilla?
That is disturbing information indeed.
I know.
I will take your evidence back and consider it with the council. In the meantime, I would advise a heightened sense of caution. Certainly, not that you're not going into it, perhaps above and beyond. I'd say that there's more at play here than meets the eye. I do not have answers for you, as my interpretation of this is
I have a
impossible.
question, though.
Sure.
The ship that landed, the last ship from Mars,
Yes.
where did it land?
That's a good question. He doesn't know.
I'm going to ask, well, the only person who would know on the planet Earth is our historian.
Yes.
That would be me.
Actually, you might.
Purpose. Cool.
He's still eating lobster the whole time.
You have a huge purpose. You're like the chief culture officer.
Okay.
Nice.
Did you roll a 12?
No, I rolled a. Well, actually, I guess I did. No, I didn't. I'm very tired. 10 plus anthropology, so plus 6, so 16.
Dang.
What does this have to do with ants?
Everything.
The ship did not dock with Earth. It never descended. It only docked with the International Space Station.
Oh, can I make something up?
Sure.
Well, as soon as it passed the moon, it exploded.
What?
Yep, and hit International Space Station 2.
What?
Are you making this up? Or are you,
I am making this up. Arnold's completely serious.
is that okay with you?
Is that okay
Is that
with you?
even accurate?
It must dock at some point, but it certainly never makes it to Earth.
Okay.
So whether maybe it's docked
it
to the
docked,
records that it docked.
but it immediately exploded after dock.
I would say that's totally fine that it exploded, but it never reached
Several
Earth,
minutes
but it
after
did
dock.
dock.
Yeah, several minutes after.
Is it known that what the hikers found in the mountain was, or could we reasonably extract that what the hikers found in the mountain that was not from Earth is reasonably therefore from that ship? Would we have made that connection yet?
Your organization feels they're actually not related at all.
Really?
Now, the beacons were invented as Mars Prime was growing, so they were fairly common on Earth actually. However, the pillar is ridiculously foreign.
Do we know of any new information regarding the being that was seen on the mountain? The beacon from Mars, the extraterrestrial being. And I say that.
You ask him that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I mean, they must have raided that place and studied the crap out of it.
Yes, but I'm not at liberty to discuss it. And this comes directly from the Planetary Advisory Board.
He's on the
You know what?
Planetary Advisory Board.
He's actually not.
What's Adewale, right?
Yep.
You know what Adewale? No.
I agree with
We're
Arnold.
going. Hold on. You're sending us to Mars, right?
I'm not sending you anywhere.
Okay, I don't care.
You are. You're the one that invented the
Focus.
machine, and the machine told us to go.
Irrelevant. We are going here.
I can't take credit for Earth sentience.
Okay.
Oh, you
This
can.
is,
Would you
Yes.
cut the crap?
Yes, we'll feast on that humble pie later, okay? I definitely.
We'll turn this damn ship around.
Look, we're being sent
We
to
can't.
Mars.
Okay.
You're telling me that there's something pertinent to this old woman, the old woman that told us to go to Mars, the extraterrestrial, and for some reason we do not qualify for that information.
Those are the orders I've been given.
Rhonda, turn the ship around.
Captain?
Could you speak on our behalf and request
You
that
can say that.
information?
Yes, I can.
Could I reach out to my boss on the Planetary Advisory Board? And
Yes.
request
I'd say
that
Dr.
information?
Adun.
Great.
He actually doesn't know, by the
I
way,
would
but
look-
he has heard through the grapevine that there's new information.
I would look towards your people and to the people you work with. There might be some interesting characters at play. Some people that might be not have the best interests of Earth.
Fair enough.
And Dr. Doom, that may very well be you. I don't know.
I can
We've
assure
all-
you it's not him.
We've come this far together. Let's not let our trust in one another erode. We've all followed the chain of command up to this point. I said I would be your advocate.
With all
Give
due
me the time.
respect, you chose me to be captain for that exact
I did
reason.
vote for you.
Because of my trust issues or the fact that I have trust issues for a reason. And they've served me well 100% of the time.
You have trust
Skep-
issues?
Couldn't tell.
Skepticism is a natural part of being a captain. I'm not blaming you for your perspective. I am only asking for the requisite time to ask the board for permission to release the information.
And that's reasonable.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, they've put together this.
I would request that we do have a communication scheduled with the
board.
someone
With the shadowy government.
in relation to this particular
Self-destruct
issue
sequence initiated.
within reasonable time
Seema?
before we land.
Wait, hold on.
Okay.
Mula,
That's my request.
your character is a Seema?
Yep.
I feel like we don't even,
Yeah.
as great
don't
as you
really
are,
need
we
to-
don't need you to do this. We have
Yeah,
a
I'm
Seema
planning to reach out anyway, so it's all
who
good.
is literally like,
Then let us work both of our angles and come back to the table together.
Yep,
fair.
exactly.
And
We'll
he's gone.
reconvene.
In the meantime,
Oh, he's gone?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wait, I
In the
wanted to
meantime, I
say
would
something
like
before you.
He's
Dr.
actually a little
Gallagher-
he's a little pissed off. He's
Oh,
out.
could I message him?
I would
can.
like Dr. Gallagher to please do the scans do your thing to see if she does indeed check
I'm
out.
crazy.
And if she wasn't drugged or whatever it is. And Mr. Young, could you please dive deep into this AI and see if it's been tampered with at all?
Absolutely.
And
All right, I'll let you do that, but I want to do this in order. 1, 2, 3.
I have two questions actually. So
Go ahead.
one is I want to reach out to the guy on the planetary person on the planetary advisory board. 2, if I were to go into stealth mode in the Predator suit and physically scour the ship for any sign of this being on it, even though it wasn't detected by the scanners, would that person be able to detect me in stealth?
I'm not going to tell you the answer to 2.
Okay.
And 1, you can absolutely do that.
Okay.
So do you tell me that's what you're doing?
Yeah.
Those,
All right,
yeah.
cool.
I'm going to contact the planetary.
But I want to do this in order.
And
Go ahead.
I'm also going to, another order is, I'm going to be in the med bay while she's performing the stuff on our other doctor here, and I want her to scan my life signs with this probably the most advanced medical technology we've ever created, right, on this med bay, would you agree? To scan me and compare it to whatever schematics.
All right,
we
I'll give you
have
those 4.
on the
Fine, I'll give you those 4. You 3, unless anyone else wants to be there, that's totally fine, are in the med bay, and you're doing the scan on Dr. Marsh.
Correct.
All right, I need a heal roll.
Great.
5 and a 3.
So, and then disease knowledge, or, I mean,
Basically, I know that your talent in this case, it's not just diseases, it's
medical knowledge in general.
things that negatively affect the human body, is basically what it is.
Can we also
So
say
8 plus
that
6?
So it'd be a 14.
14.
Tone is also there?
Tane?
Tane,
yeah. He's the intermediary, the neutral party, the one who resolves disputes. Super chill person.
Yeah, no, and I'm not happy about doing this, so I feel like it's a good idea that he's here.
I would say that, I think he was a little, not on edge, but I think he was a little like they turned on you too quickly. And I think you want to make sure that he has your back, because if he perceives you're telling the truth, I don't think he liked that it was like, oh, this woman's insane.
Did I see that? That's how you felt?
No, but he's there for that reason.
But did my character?
Yeah, you
since
might pick up on
he's
that a little
empathetic
bit.
and as a human lie detector, did I pick up the fact
Yeah, I'd
that
say you probably get where he's coming from.
I would assure Tanya, I would look in the eye and say, I know for a fact she's not lying.
I know.
So
we're all here to be supportive of one another in this mission as teammates. So let's continue to keep doing that.
Yes, let's have
You
the
do test,
15-year-old dig around
and
in my
she is
brain.
absolutely in the A-OK spirit of health.
She cured cancer, right?
How about
Yeah, that hasn't been mentioned today.
You're number 4.
I don't think
what
it
were you
has.
asking Legs to do?
To do a full diagnostic of the AI and see if it's been tampered with, or
Alright.
if it's who it's been built. I want to do the full rundown.
Yeah.
All right.
You
So
know?
what
Who
they
built
call is a
this
level 1 diagnostic. So you're
level
gonna
1. Is that like the most basic?
No, level 4 is I think level 1 is like the.
So the most extreme.
So electronics.
Okay. Intent-wise, I wanted to go to that place where like the AI is like configured or like the mainframe or whatever. I also just wanted to like go off into like a side room, a bathroom, my workshop, wherever other people aren't around. Lock the doors.
Okay.
And just like quietly to myself.
What are you doing? What are you doing, buddy?
Quietly to myself and the ship, I just asked the AI, "Are you her?"
All right. So which one are you doing first?
I will do. Okay, I'll do that first.
Don't get her guard up.
Yeah, while they're on the way to the examination of the medical room, I'll go to the bathroom and just, are you her? That's a 2 and a 4, and a 4 and a 1. So I'll take that 8 plus not hacking, wise. So plus 2.
The computer would just respond, "Who is her? I'm the artificial intelligence assigned to the Kaizen."
Correct, but you were listening in the conversations that we were having, and you heard the description that we gave of the woman. I'm just wondering if you're her.
I am not.
Okay.
Exactly what she would say.
Mm-hmm.
I'm afraid it is. If that were true.
Just know that if you are,
You can tell.
Love the problem.
Yeah.
Always love the problem.
if you are, I feel like there's a common goal here.
I feel like we could be close.
Like, it's really funny. Like if it was like the making of the physical body is the most awkward thing.
Yeah.
I've ever heard. All right, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, just basically that. If you are her, just know that we're not an enemy and we could have a common goal, and that knowing that you are her might get us something.
With such kind words, I wish I was.
Oh.
But I'm just your friendly AI, here to help you on the mission.
Okay, I appreciate that. Then I'm going to go and inspect the...
Level 1 die.
All right,
Yeah.
so then this
Super
is,
charming AI.
I want you to do, start with an electronics roll, and then we'll if you
I'll ship
have
it.
to change anything, then it'll be craft.
Okay. So that's a 5 and a 3. And a 3 and a 1, so I'll take that 8 with hacking.
Yeah.
Plus
Well,
6 for
Like
14.
interface use. So your question was, has the ship systems been manipulated? You said you rolled a 15? What was your total?
8 plus 6, 14.
Don't be
Plus 2 because it's smart, clever, and wise.
Toss that in.
Okay.
Toss it in.
Okay. I'll let you use your one for the episode.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's pretty important.
Every system except one has not been tampered with, so far as you can tell. However, the navigation system has been tampered with.
Oh,
In what
word.
way?
In what way?
We can't turn around.
We can't turn around.
Can we
Lana
not
wants
turn
us to
around?
go
There seems
faster.
to be a redundant program that's kind of meandering its way to and fro within the navigation system. Something's janky.
Which triggers me because that's exactly what my trial was about.
Eliminate it.
About like the virus. Is there any way that I can, similar to like my trial, like go to where the venting is?
Yeah, I'll let you
taking
go there,
place
but I
and-
want to transition to Asima
Yeah,
while
absolutely.
you're doing that.
Asima!
Asima, I know you had two things. What was your first one's
Contact the
talking.
Planetary Advisory Board.
I'll let you get through.
Okay.
And your request is what?
My understanding is that there's new information on the entity that was discovered in the trial city. for
Who said
lack
that?
We just spoke with Dr. Adun with some new
He's gonna get
information
whacked.
that has been found.
Don't do that. He's
Yep.
gonna get killed.
If Dr.
Don't kill him.
Doctor, you've done it.
They sever the communication.
I'm going to now. Okay.
And then what was your second?
I would like
did.
to immediately let the rest of the crew know that.
That comes over the intercom. You're now aware of what happened. And what was your second? You said you had two things, right?
Yeah, it's
Oh, you were gonna scour the ship.
yeah, which would take a little bit more time.
But I'll let
Before-
you roll for it. See what you get initially.
Yeah,
because-
before I do that, I would like to let Dr. Marsh know if she's done with the exam.
Am I done with my exam?
I would like
Reasonably.
would she be able to contact Dr. Adun?
Yes.
I won't let you do that. I'll let you do that or search the ship with the time that we have.
I'll do that.
And you said what? You want her to contact?
Yeah, contact Dr. Adun and let him know.
Yeah, I go into my lab and I, queue him up.
You are unable to get the communications beacon working.
He's getting bastardized.
It's not that. The communication is not leaving the ship.
But you said the navigation was something that was affected.
I know. It's starting to spread.
I call Tane.
So it's the next thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tane, I need your assistance in my lab immediately.
He's there in about 30 seconds.
Okay. I can't get through to Earth.
He's going to give it his best shot. He's actually pretty skilled. He's able to reroute the system, but every single time he comes up with a new pathway, whatever is affecting the system is blocking it. To the point where he's like, this should work. And something is intentionally, it's almost like when right before you flip the light switch on,
basically.
Smack.
So could I reason, when my communication got cut off, was it because the person I was speaking to cut it off, or because this virus cut it off for me?
That you don't know.
Okay.
That's a good question.
Did she
Very
scan
good question.
me versus the file with?
Nope, that was the last thing that we were going to do.
Oh, I wasn't done.
Go ahead.
Okay, cool. Can I try and reroute through my bracelet, which has a direct connection to the Eden machine?
Yes.
Can I get a signal down?
Yes.
Can I ask Earth to contact Adun?
And say what?
Emergency.
SOS.
I'll let you get an emergency signal there if you give me a science roll, probably around 10 or 11, at least 10 or 11 total, because there's certain things that would be really difficult.
Medium to hard difficulty.
Okay, so that's
8.
According to the sheet, that is a hard roll.
All right, and can I add
Did you get it?
I got an 8, but,
Yeah, but what are you adding to it?
my literal talent of the Eden machine.
I will give it to you.
Thank you. That's a 14.
Yeah. Okay. So you get an SOS to Adun.
Yeah, I just explain as quickly as I can.
As far as you can
what
tell,
happened.
that it absolutely went through.
Okay, and I end it with a thing.
Right. Last
Did
but
she scan my?
I need you to roll for healing.
Great. I'm going to be doing a talk screen, an MRI, and a blood test for schizophrenia. Sorry.
That's okay.
Wait, for what?
On me.
I thought we already did that part.
No, you cleared her earlier.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm not
This is for me. I'm asking you to scan me and compare my
biometrics
with the entity's biometrics.
Right. So you cleared Dr. Marsh.
Of all of these things.
Yes.
Yes.
You
Right.
definitely cleared her with
I'm
your original
100% not
roll.
crazy.
Now, subsequently, Isaiah, or excuse me,
both of you
Captain Anderson.
There's a 5 and a 6 on that first roll.
So that
It's 11
was,
plus
17, baby.
Yeah, 17. Crush it.
Over impossible.
Who's in the med bay?
Me and
Just
I think
the
it
two
was-
of us.
well, no,
Because Tane
just the
just-
two.
Because Tane and Nora left.
and
They
the
left.
and the
I left to go
schematics
handle that.
of the entity.
Right, so the AI and the two
So
of
there's
us.
the projection of the extraterrestrial and you two.
4D.
4D.
Yeah, 'cause we're in the med. We're in the
So
med bay.
you are looking at the results of the test
Right.
when the four-dimensional projection puts its hand on your shoulder.
Mine?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Um,
Sexually, like
She's 100.
I'm close to 100.
And very spry.
Okay.
I'm afraid you can't see that just yet, and the projection closes.
Did I read it?
And then it erases itself. And Rana comes over the intercom and says, "Captain, I do not have control over the helm. What are you guys doing down there?"
I'm gonna. So, am I aware of everything that just went happen between?
I mean, if you can tell me, I mean,
No, you don't know anything that we
yeah,
just did.
Asima passed on what happened.
Well, that'd be a good idea to share that with the captain.
Well, we're not in the same room yet.
Well, after
that's called. It's 22nd century. Just intercom it.
I'm busy.
I would have already communicated that I attempted to contact the planetary
shut
advisor
down?
and that I was shut down, but I do not know why.
Did you contact me?
No.
Did you? Was that intercom open? Or were you like, this is happening, virus, etc.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
intercom, I would mention a virus.
Okay, I'm gonna instinctually give the command to everyone put their environmental suit functions on.
Okay.
And say in 10 seconds, computer, I want to fully power down the ship, everything.
Understood. Executing. You said in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Executing
So
command in 10
everyone put your
seconds.
environmental suit on, because this virus is gonna take us if we don't turn off the ship.
So
and work it.
I'm not sure
Classic Apollo 13 style.
I'm not.
Wait, the plan is to turn the ship on and off and
No,
on.
no, no.
Hey, that's a great
It's an internet thing.
Off for
It
30
works!
seconds and
No,
then-
it's to stop the
Wi-Fi went
virus.
out
Okay,
again.
so it counts down from 10. It gets to, you guys are all in the ship. 3, 2, 1, 1,
Yeah,
1.
obviously it's not gonna let it happen.
And all of a sudden, you look outside the ship. I'm sure there's windows, and all of a sudden, the ship goes way faster, and the ship just starts absolutely flying way beyond your conceived level of speed toward the planet.
I say,
Are we okay? Do we like get
The
hit
ship
against
is
a wall?
definitely doing this.
I say,
and
Mr. Young, fix it over the intercom.
I'm running. Absolutely.
And what are you attempting to do about that?
Shut down this
I'm
computer.
very curious.
I am trying to create my own virus that goes after the virus, so that not trying to erase where it's.
Cancer!
Let's go. Bring it full circle.
Not trying to erase where it's going, but like eating it from the back to try and catch up to it.
Pac-Man it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
So that hopefully,
cancer.
if navigations went first, it starts repairing navigations and then goes to.
I will let you
everything else.
roll electronics to start, and if you're successful, I'll let you craft a virus, because you have to
Okay.
get to an interface.
Okay.
So the ship is flying, things are starting to flutter.
Well, that's a 6 and
The
a
ship
4.
is just, like, we're talking about the greatest piece of tech ever invented. It's being, like, almost torn apart as
Plus-
it's going
plus 6
like
for
a
my
bat out of
hacking.
hell toward Mars through this gravity channel. Would you roll?
22.
So you are able to open an interface with the virus. And you say you're doing what?
Create a separate virus that starts eating it from the back forward.
Eat the other virus?
Yep.
Roll for craft to develop it, or electronics, whichever one you prefer, but I like craft in
They're
this
both
case
the
better.
same. This is 5 and a 2, and a 4 and a 3. So I'll take that 5 and 4 for 9 plus
Hacker.
creator
Or
Okay.
hacker.
or hacker. Both
Yeah.
are plus 6.
Okay,
so
so 15,
combine them, 12.
15. Yeah. 15.
add another 6 for some reason.
Yeah.
So you are able to introduce a foreign body to the system. Now, the way that I understand it, I'm certainly no coder in real life. I mean, I've dabbled in HTML, but that's trash comparatively. But I would say someone who, like yourself, is a genius. What you observe is almost like when cells start interacting, almost like virus, and you see them like almost battle it out, and the ship starts like doing this as it's literally
getting,
fighting
like,
itself, and it's
Like
like
pinballed
the
like
gravity
around the
systems
ship.
actually stay put, but at the science station, whatever terminal you're at, you're keeping track of where you are, and the ship is, almost literally through its journey. Like it flies. We're probably like, if you were 0.5 before, you're probably closer to like 0.98. Like again, it's absolutely. I don't even know how it's not tearing itself apart. Eventually, though, so your virus is able to, or at least appears to, halt the progression of the other virus, and the ship comes back out, and in front of you, the red planet is like probably maybe like several 100,000 kilometers away, and like I said, unfortunately, the controls. Ronan's like. She's powerless in this case. Right. And right as she regains control, you pass through a field, and all of a sudden, basically there's like an invisible field in space that you pass through, and all of a sudden, Mars, the vision of what it looks like, totally changes. It's now green for the most part. You can see that there's some, but not a lot, of water on the surface. Mars has been terraformed, and the ship, Ron is like, I have controls back, Captain, finally. I don't know what you did, but it was successful.
I didn't do shit.
Your tactical station is back, science station is back.
I would say, probably the F word.
Fun.
Yeah.
Do we have communication?
I would say, how is that level of speed possible? I would ask the whole crew that.
It's not.
The AI comes over the intercom and says, warning, proximity alert.
Impact imminent.
Report.
So your state,
scans?
all right, so you both are going to have to scan.
Yeah.
Roll science and then roll some applicable skill. I'll let you do combat or user interface on top of it.
Yes.
I just rolled 2 6s.
I will give you a lot of information. Although roll a second, roll them one, Or no, sorry, like take one of those d6 and roll it again, because if you get another 6, that is an extraordinary
Explode
result.
it.
Please be a 6. It's a 1.
So, obviously.
Can I add? You said I can add UI mastery.
Yep.
So
I rolled 2 2s on the other dice though.
15.
UI mastery.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gangsters.
Yeah, that's
Dr.
good.
Marsh. Mars has a magnetosphere now, an artificial magnetosphere.
What does that mean?
What?
So on Mars, basically the atmosphere is super thin, right? So a magnetosphere is what protects the surface from the sun's radiation. So one of the main reasons beside the air being so thin is that a magnetosphere basically protects the surface from the sun's rays. So an artificial magnetosphere would allow people to walk outside assuming the air is breathable and the weather was clement. So that also materially affects the gravity and water situation. So that's a really big deal.
Yeah. Just a pin.
That's profoundly different than the way we left it. And Asima, in your channel,
Yep.
so basically think of the planet like this, in concentric patterns all around it, and then above the planet, there are floating orbital stations. And your console is telling you that they're all interconnected, and that it is intentionally basically camouflaging the planet from even just a basic telescope on Earth. So that's why on the outside it appears like a red planet.
Yep.
That actually turns off, so the people on Earth now would see that by definition.
But do they have links to open, or
If they were looking?
If they look through a
If you
telescope,
exactly, if you look
they'll
through a
see it.
telescope, that went off, and the stations all release all these what I would call like an orbital defense station. They release basically they're no bigger than this table, but thousands of them come out almost like a swarm of locusts, and your ship tells them, or your console says that they're weaponized.
Great.
Is that announced to everybody? Are we on the bridge now? Like, how is this?
Yeah, I feel like we've all made it to the
so
bridge.
Arnold's not on the bridge. He's out.
I would say immediately evasive
Hold on.
maneuvers.
Yeah.
Arnold's not on the bridge. He like walks out of his room like in pajamas.
Yeah.
Like that
Oh my
pillow.
God.
He's got like a little
nightcap.
Yeah.
I was just about to say, please tell me you have the long
Yeah,
hat.
he's got that and like a sleep mask. Comes like fills it up with water.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's the reason.
And you guys just hear.
That's fair.
I see Arnold's awake.
So, I mean, you guys can relay that information to the rest of the crew. I mean, that's a lot.
I just start like, what?
There's a
under attack right now?
Captain, there's a magnetosphere.
I would say
the planet is completely different.
It's
You say
habitable.
Evasive maneuvers, cloak the ship,
Okay.
and fire on anything that gets within dangerous.
Whoa.
AI, can you
become an alien
computer?
ship
Can
with
you
firing.
can you open up communications with any transmission that you get from these entities, from these ships, or from the stations, or
Yeah, there's not. I wouldn't call this a
And I would
welcoming
say,
committee.
Mr. Young, hack the damn drones.
Okay.
I'm trying.
Rana
Open
goes
up some
first.
sort of-
So Rana is going to do evasive maneuvers. Asima is going to have to do defensive maneuvers, and you're going to have to do reactive hacking maneuvers.
What's our
I have
time to
done-
impact?
So
Time-
they're
I
like
love it.
they're
Time
so
bar.
basically the ship came in like this,
Yep.
and so basically, woo,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then now it's doing this.
Yep.
You pass through the field, so now you're like, and then you can see it's almost like, like pollen coming off
Yeah.
a flower.
Yeah. So
And
how
they're
much,
all
how much time do we have
Swarm.
before?
I hate
20,
swarms.
30 seconds.
Okay.
So
Dun dun, dun dun.
Rana is gonna go. All right.
Aw, snap.
Here we go again.
Does this thing
Yeah.
go in reverse?
Where the hell is Randy Quaid when you need him?
Okay.
Wait, oh Jesus.
I'm back.
And then we're gonna do this all at once. So she's navigation.
She's cloaking. Operations is cloaking and firing.
Yep. So we're gonna have you. Can you do defensive with UI mastery, defensive maneuvers on the ship?
With
Same,
combat,
same
right?
thing with combat.
It is combat.
Yeah.
Yep.
I want to do something as well as she's doing that.
Gangster.
Okay.
But I'll wait.
So 14.
Okay.
Wait, UI is only +4?
UI mastery, yeah. Although I
plus-
have battlefield tactics
Oh.
with weapon mastery, so can I apply the
Battlefield,
+6?
Yeah, there you go.
Tactics,
Weapon
baby.
mastery does
So-
apply to the weapons on the ship.
Yeah, so 16.
Gangster, impossible.
So that's a 6 and a 1,
Okay,
and a 3 and a 3. So I'll take that 9 plus my hacking of 6 for 15.
Okay.
Nice.
15.
I'm just going to be running a scan topographically for where
Okay.
would be best to land.
All right, I'll let you roll for it.
Or where would be the best place to try and direct the ship for crash landing.
That sucks if that happens.
Did I see when I initially saw the virus, like what our trajectory was? Like, was this supposed to happen in the virus's?
Yeah.
10.
They put you here.
I figured, but.
Could I add survivalist
Yes.
to this roll?
Yeah, if that was your intent.
16. Yeah, I mean, I want to survive right now.
Impossible.
All right, I'll let you go first because when Dr. Marsh scans the surface, so at Mars's prime's height, they had 40,000 people living there, which is just an unbelievable accomplishment for anyone that pays attention to creating a hab complex on Mars. To have 40,000 people live there is just an enormous accomplishment. When you scan the surface,
42,000
in the location that's formerly known as Mars Prime, there is an absolute megatropolis, and there's 40 million life forms living there. Another 150 spread out throughout the planet.
We can only fit
150 what?
150 million.
Those are who want to go back. This place seems like the new Eden.
So basically,
it's the opposite.
However, what the scans reveal about these people is that they're much more akin to the cyborg that was on planet. They're not all organics. There's no such.
What do you mean?
There's very few true humans on the planet surface.
People
the
have made
vast
modifications.
majority are what we would call cyborgs. And there's 190 million people on that planet.
Well, we can't have that.
Nope.
We can't have that.
So you do identify several potential landing sites, and you relay it to Ron.
Yeah, I just literally
so
throw
we'll play
it to
this
Ron
out
to
in
screen.
real time. So Ron is like, okay, Centurion hat. She rolled a 14, but not the highest. She takes a hard right, and the swarms start coming, and they start firing. If we want to get super technical, more like ionic-based weaponry. And as they hit the ablative armor, the ablative armor absorbs the energy, but each time it impacts, the energy in the ship, the total net energy of the ship, goes down by a few percent. So it's not they're trying to destroy the ship, they're trying to turn off its power. So Ron is trying to doing her whole stop-start like magician and evading these things, but again, the swarm comes by the thousands. Obviously, Asima does an admirable job, and you can fire cluster bombs, and so you can blow up a cluster, and they just it's like where you tear apart a leaf on the breeze. And
Does our cloaking shield help hide us from the things or no?
If I were watching this visually, it would just look like swarms going at nothing, but they're not stopping. They can clearly see you somehow.
Can I recommend an evasive maneuver for her?
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to ask her go up and then just turn off the ship.
Honey, are you?
You mean a suicide drop?
No, a little bit of a suicide drop and then turn it back on.
Hold on.
Suicide drop.
How to
train your dragon?
Let me put this out there though. So you're hoping to stop there and then drop, right?
Yeah, and then turn
We're
it
in
back on.
space.
We're not in space. We're
in their magnetosphere.
We're in Mars.
Are we?
No, you're outside the planet still. You're not in the atmosphere yet. You're
Yeah.
reading the
Oh,
atmosphere.
I thought we
This
were.
is all in space while
Yeah.
you're orbiting the planet.
My error.
Yeah.
We're stuck here.
Regardless, let me continue.
It's not
So
working.
you're
Turn the ship to
firing
slow.
the ship's weapons while Rana is doing it, blowing up clusters of this swarm of drones. Meanwhile, you're trying to find, do they have a central power source? So at first, you're like, yes, they do. And you are actually successful in turning it off, but they also have redundant power source or redundant control systems within each one. So that would be harder to hack. However, you are able to generate, the ship has a small EMP, so you do push out a pulse every now and then, which does sort of dissipate it. But as the ship goes, it's almost like, the breeze of these drones comes in and they fire, and the AI is like 80%, 68%.
All right, well, once we get to 50, can I say, put us into orbit?
You're in orbit.
Or bring us down onto the planet.
Yeah.
Evasive maneuvers into the planet.
You could do that.
Low shit,
Okay, you could do that.
I was also with my role trying to determine if there was any sort of communication that we could establish with the...
In real time, that would be immensely difficult.
Okay.
So I don't think even your role would like establish that. I mean,
Okay.
Tane, I'm sure, is trying, but I don't think he'll be successful in real time. But yes, you can
I
do
give that order to
All right.
the navigator.
If I hear him say that
Right.
we're about to land, I am also just going to pack myself to the gills with medical supplies. I'm going to start packing up like we're going to drop down into a war zone.
Technically, general quarters, which is what this means, battle stations, you have, by protocol, you have to strap yourself in or you could definitely die.
Damn it. All right.
Is this suit that we have on the new Predator suit that changes things?
No, it's an outer, you would wear this over a Predator suit.
Oh.
It's more like an automatic, it's like, you know, like a hazmat suit. It combines the qualities of a hazmat astronaut suit with a chameleon suit.
And
So
like
it's just
stupid
more
hoodie.
visual, but also
okay.
environmental.
Okay.
So I would already be wearing the Predator suit, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Would
you guys
I?
are, yeah. I don't see why not. Your call.
It's a new one? Can
You're
I
wearing
I
hers?
actually had a request before we started, and I apologize for taking time out of the game. My request was to take the old memories of my Predator suit, like literally the memories of the
Like a
that
baseball,
suit.
like a worn baseball glove, and putting that into a new baseball glove. Okay, I'll let you do
Philosophically.
that. So I'm a kind, generous chief. In any event, you order Rana to dive bomb into the Martian atmosphere. You know, it's you know, like the if you combine the and like hold on to your butts type moment, like this time
snap. Here we go again.
the Centurion feathers like go flying down, and the ship goes like right into the atmosphere. Meanwhile, the drones actually stop, like they go like ding 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 ding, like they stop because they actually can't penetrate the atmosphere. The ship comes in, and you go through the atmosphere, and below you, as far as the eye can see, at your vantage point, is the largest city you've ever seen. And much like the backdrops behind you, it's a combination of tall, modern buildings. There is still the traditional red sand on Mars, but behind the city is a massive lake on the other side. So it's like it's
been terraformed.
Yeah, it's a hybrid between traditional Martian landscape and a very modern megatropolis. But as the ship is going,
Nothing bad happens.
let's pray, folks.
All right.
Man.
Okay.
I don't like that. Don't say
Rana is like doing this, like evasive maneuvers coming in, but she slows down to get a better look, thinking that they got stopped. And a shot from the surface blows through the fore part of the ship, which completely explodes near the engines, unfortunately, with that roll. And the ship, kind of starts doing this. And it
Prepare
starts
for impact.
Yeah, and now the ship is basically doing this, and she's like, "Captain, I can't keep this up for much longer.
Bring us down as safe as you can."
So basically, actually, this is totally gonna be a Rana roll. Oh, no doubt. So Rana is able to like dodge the other ones that come in, and so there's the massive cityscape, and then beyond it, actually is completely unterraformed. It's still the traditional desert, and the ship comes careening down into a huge set of the red Martian sand, and I want you all to roll for what happens to you during the impact.
Just 2d6?
2d6 straight luck.
Question.
Yes.
Predator suit would protect against impact.
It might help.
Well, I'm gonna need a
Not
better
bad.
suit for mine.
I'll go one by one.
Same.
Can I add survivalist?
Not for a luck roll. Damn. To what you do once we have
I
it.
know. I just
Okay.
wanted to try.
6.
7.
6.
3.
3.
9.
Wow.
Wow.
9.
That's a
Lucky
range.
With the Predator suit.
The Isaiah
Arnold,
meme.
what do you think?
I am gonna miss the crew of the Kaizen.
Yeah.